Stand for the prayer. Dear God, today as this session opens, we pray that your presence will be before us and everyone who serves in the decision-making process of our city. We pray for direction, which will lead our city to be strong and unified. May we continue the legacy of our founders. May we be granted this day the wisdom to make decisions which will be for the good of our city. We also pray for your special blessing on all those who are working to transform our city and make it a better place to live and work. Amen. Please remain standing for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Would clerk please call the roll?
Counsel Mercier.
Here.
Counsel Milanazzo.
Here.
Counsel Rourke. Counsel Samaras.
Here.
Counsel Belanger.
Here.
Counsel Elliott.
Here.
Mayor Kennedy.
Here.
Counsel Leahy.
Here.
Counsel Leary.
Here.
That's 9 present.
Counsel Leahy.
Thank you. I'd like to do a moment of silence for Eleanor A. Leahy O'Connor. Eleanor O'Connor was my aunt, as well as Christine O'Connor, our city solicitor's aunt. She was married to James R. O'Connor. Together, they had four children and made their home in the city of Lowell. Eleanor was a paraprofessional at the Merkland and Cardinal O'Connor schools and a member of the Lowell Teachers Union. She'll be sadly missed. Thank you.
Thank you. Counsel Belanger.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As you can see, we have a capacity crowd here at the City Council chambers tonight. It's a pleasure to welcome everybody on this very passionate issue. So with that being said, Mr. Mayor, I think it's appropriate that we take item 5.1A out of order tonight and begin, let the registered speakers begin.
Okay, we have a request to take item 5.1A out of order. If there's no objection, we'll do that by general consent. Hearing no objection, we'll take 5.1A out of order. We have 39, and 5.1A for everybody is to approve the 4 unranked options and authorize Skanska USA Building Incorporated to submit preliminary design materials to the MSBA.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve that by Counsel Elliott, seconded by Counsel Leahy. And we have 39 speakers registered to speak on the matter.
Chris Meehan.
My name is Chris Meehan. I live at 47 Connie Drive. Mr. Mayor, Mr. Manager, City Councilors, I'd like to tell you right off the top that I think the best decision we can make as a city would be to keep Lowell High School downtown. I stand before you as the grandson of Irish immigrants. My grandparents came to this city in 1910. For a time, they lived in the boarding houses on the land where the Lowell Auditorium now sits. I tell you this not to make my opinion more valuable than others, but to show you how invested the Meehan family has been and will continue to be in the city of Lowell. I first became involved in this process to stand up for my neighborhood, and for that, I will make no apology. I live 6 houses up from the wetlands on Douglas Road. The Meehans have called 47 Connie Drive home for 60 years. In my opinion, I feel placing the second largest high school in the state in this small neighborhood will be a mistake. It will have a permanent and negative effect on this neighborhood, one of the nicest neighborhoods in the city, and I firmly believe that. Now, some like to suggest that if the high school is placed at Colley Stadium, that it would somehow be the first time that Belvedere is sharing in the burden of living in a city. I think this is false. This neighborhood is bursting with activity. We deal with the stadium and all the events that go along with that. We deal with the skating rink. We deal with the Riley School, the Sullivan School. There is also serious flooding on this street that I'll get to in a second. The area is not isolated. Placing the high school at Colley Stadium will tip the scales in a bad direction, and the peaceful coexistence that we have will now be a thing of the past. The flooding is a serious problem on Douglas Road and has been for a long, long time. And it occurs on a simple rainstorm. You get a really bad rainstorm, and some of those people are going to have waterfront property. All of the houses in the area have sump pumps. I do not see this problem improving if the high school is placed at Colley. Now, when you combine these issues with the fact that the girls' athletic program will have to make sacrifices, but not the boys, when you tell me that the arts programs are going to take a hit having to deal with a smaller auditorium at the Colley site, when you realize that by running away from downtown, we will make it that much more difficult for kids to use the many resources that our urban campus provides, it becomes clear to me that the best decision is to keep Lowell High School downtown. In closing, I would like to say that back in the 50s and 60s, we had the experts from Washington here in town tearing down our mills and our boarding houses. There was even a plan to fill in the canal so we could get more land to develop. I am happy that someone said, "Stop, enough." With the vision of Dr. Patrick Mogan and the efforts of many, we now have an urban national park that we can be proud of. But the work is not done. We should not run away from our history. We should embrace it. It is who we are. The very well-meaning folks on the other side want us to chase a suburban fantasy. They want us to go along with 25 acres of dreams and a 10-acre parcel. It is my belief that we can do better. I say again, the best decision for all of the people in the city of Lowell, not just a select few, all of the people, is to keep the high school downtown. I thank you again. I wish you all good luck in this decision. God bless America.
Jeffrey Feldman. Jeffrey Feldman.
Before we go on, we have 38 more to go. There is a 5-minute speaking limit, and so we'll be keeping track of that up here, so just so that everybody knows that up front. Jeff
Jeffrey Feldman.
Good evening. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, and good evening, city councilors and
Name and address.
the city manager.
Name and
My
address.
first
Mr. Feldman.
politician in Lowell, by the way, sir. Wrote to you years ago. You were a wonderful response. So I, too, am for keeping the Lowell High School downtown. To me, this is absolutely the core of our city's culture. I also believe that if you really look at option 3, that school downtown will be a modern facility. People somehow think that Colley is going to be a superior facility to the downtown facility. I disagree with that. I don't think there's anything in the plans that even suggests that it would be better, and much that would suggest that it might be worse, as the prior speaker indicated. The Lowell High School sits amidst a complicated fabric that includes the International Institute, it includes the Middlesex Community College, it includes UMass Lowell, it includes the National Park, and it's absolutely central and therefore fair to our city. I'd like to move on to another issue, which actually I was reminded on the occasion of creating the Howe Bridge. Mayor Kennedy, now Mayor Kennedy, and I had an interesting discussion, and I, as some of you may know, am very hot to increase the amount of turnout we have in all of our elections, but the municipal election is particularly needy. And Mayor Kennedy made an excellent point to me, and that is we also have to educate the voters. It's not a good thing to create a mass of voters that really don't understand the issues on which they're voting. And I actually resisted Mayor Kennedy at that time, but it stuck in my mind. And as events have gone on since then, that it has been even more apparent to me. And this particular issue is sort of a demonstration of what Mayor Kennedy said to me, whether you agree or not. What I'm seeing, unfortunately, I would like the city council to be honest brokers of information. If you see something on Facebook, whether it serves your intended purpose or not, if it's true, say it's true and why it's true, and if it's not completely true or it doesn't introduce all the information, then I think you should say it, even if that's not to your advantage. You are the keepers of our political integrity, and I'm asking you to do that. And frankly, I think you can do it better. So there are concerns, for example, about safety at the downtown event, at the downtown school, and people are not thinking about things that I know are real issues for Cawley. So whatever we do, and when we bring this to the state and ask the state for its money, we should come as a coherent, data-driven, honest government. And I think we have room for improvement on that, whether we go to the downtown school or we go to Cawley. I think that there are issues with both. Neither one is a guarantee. I also believe that the downtown school, simply because it is where it has been, we know how that will affect the character of our city. It will continue to be positive, but with a better facility. What happens when you move the school over to the side of the town, to the boundary of a suburban environment? I think sociologists could write doctoral theses predicting what might or might not happen forever. And so I do see Cawley as high risk, and whereas we may have some temporary inconveniences in the next couple of years, whatever Cawley will be, if it will be permanent. And will be a permanent change to the city. Whether better or worse, it will not be the same. And I think that's something that really we need to grasp and take care of. So once again, I do think we should have the downtown. I said in an email to Councilor Rourke, I said, I find myself in a curious position of being a conservative. Some of you who know me politically, that's not usually where I am. So thank you very much for your time, and let's move on to the next speaker.
Mr. Feldman, the clerk needs your address.
I'm sorry. Jeffrey Feldman, my address is 1541 Middlesex Street.
Thanks. Thank you.
Lynn Daly.
Good evening. My name's Lynn Daly. I live at 35 Windward Road. I support keeping Lowell High School downtown. As part of the MSBA process, the city was required to submit a statement of interest, or SOA, to the MSBA. This SOA was signed by the school superintendent, our elected school committee chair, and the city manager. The SOI states there is only one high school in Lowell, made up of multiple buildings. It is at the center of the city. There is overwhelming support to keep it in the city center for a number of reasons, including it is a historical building, one unified school is important to school pride, busing to multiple locations is reduced, as there is a city bus system used by many students. Location near UMass Lowell and the city municipal buildings brings opportunities for the students and the education. The urban presence of the school adds to the pride of the city. Parking for students and teachers is simplified by city parking garages, and building a new school for 3,900 students is cost prohibitive. The city could not have said it any better. The downtown site is best for all of the students. It allows maximum amount of access to all the students. It minimizes transportation time and costs for all students and families. 1/3 of the students walk to school. Downtown is a transportation hub for bus routes throughout the city and cannot be replicated with the Cawley plan. It optimizes student access to educational and cultural opportunities unique to the downtown. It strengthens relationships with downtown-based organizations and nonprofits. The Collie Plan would raise 2 girls' athletic fields and combine them into one smaller multi-use that raises Title IX questions. The downtown site is best for the city. Students and teachers provide economic benefit to many downtown small businesses. Moving the high school will add to the surplus of commercial space downtown. If you move the high school to the Tewksbury line, you will change the landscape of Lowell. Renovation is temporary. This will be forever. The downtown site is best for the taxpayers. Current downtown plans estimate a savings of $20 million upfront. The Collie Plan comes with unknown, non-reimbursable infrastructure costs, along with Article 97 issues. The Collie Plan will affect neighborhood infrastructure, fields replacement, water table issues, floodplain issues, and sewer issues that will add millions more, all non-reimbursable. Downtown parking is abundant. The Collie Plan has yet to establish a plan for parking 700-plus vehicles. A new garage at Collie would cost tens of millions in additional taxpayer dollars. Getting back to the statement of interest, it also states, given the confirmed need to expand the grade PK through 8 schools by 22,500 additional seats, it is agreed that it will be necessary to build additional school buildings or a comprehensive expansion of the existing facilities. Again, all signed by the school committee chair, the superintendent of schools, and the city manager. The taxpayer is also going to be expected to foot the bill with the need for additional PK through 8 schools. In closing, please vote tonight to approve the 4 unranked options and authorize Skanska USA Building, Inc., the OPM, to submit preliminary design materials to the MSBA. Thank you.
Thank you.
Donette Cooper. Donette Cooper. Seng Chan.
Good evening, City Mayor and council members. My name is Sang Chan. I'm from 73 Inland Street of the Highlands. I'm a past and present volunteered Lowell boys and girls travel basketball team coach. I value the players and families that I have met as a coach. Teams consist of players from all over the city, all backgrounds and different parts of families and ethnicity. I believe that as a youth coach, father, and Highland resident, that a state-of-the-art high school through new construction at Collie Stadium would be best serve families and residents of Lowell. I have coached in many venues over the years, seen impressive schools with campuses, green space, amenities at students' fingertips. I do not want to visit these schools in 5 to 10 years from now and think, wow, Lowell could have had a school setting like this. And that's all I have. Thank you, and thank you for your time and your attention.
Thank you.
Derek Mitchell. Derek Mitchell.
Good evening, City Manager, Mayor, and councilors. Thanks for hearing us tonight. Also, congratulations to Lowell on this turnout and continued engagement. I think this is an important conversation. Frankly, I think this is a defining conversation for our city, and I appreciate everybody's involvement. I'm here to speak in favor of the downtown location. I feel like this is a defining moment for our community. We're an urban city. We're a city steeped in history. I think keeping the high school downtown is a way to continue that history, to leverage it, to celebrate it, and to set us apart from some of our other communities. To move to a more suburban campus would lose that advantage. We would lose the connections that come with access to other facilities at UMass Lowell and MCC. We'd lose connection with the businesses and intern opportunities. We'd lose resources like UTech and Girls Inc., the Boys and Girls Club. These are resources that young people currently can walk to. When you take us a bus ride away, young people stop using these resources. The value of that high school, the value of that campus is diminished as a result. More broadly, though, there's a conversation about equity. Our young people from all neighborhoods can get to the downtown. Estimated 30% of our young people are walking to the current high school. When you move it out of the downtown, those young people will be further burdened to get there. They might get there less often. They might access the resources after school less often. Community members might access those resources less often. If we care about being an urban community, if we truly do want to celebrate the history of this great city, keeping the high school downtown is the best way to do it. Thanks.
Thank you.
TJ McCannon.
Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, my name is TJ McCarran. I live in the Highlands at 831 Westford Street. In my mind, this is still a very easy decision. Taking transportation into account, it's still a no-brainer to choose Collie. I'm here to restate my support for Collie. Why would we gamble the future of our city? Why would we risk the health and well-being of students and staff when we don't need to? We have a clean slate out at Collie that allows for the building, the cost-effective building of a state-of-the-art school that meets all of the educational objectives. No other option meets those objectives. It also provides no disruption to students or staff, and also provides an economic opportunity to grow the commercial tax base. Downtown, all the options, in my mind, are a disaster waiting to happen. We know about asbestos in the old building. Nobody else knows what's in the ground, behind the walls, or above the ceilings. The project manager has stated, for every month past deadline, we're looking at $1.5 million in cost overruns. This has the very real potential of spiraling out of control. Couple that with declining enrollment, which leads to reduced state funding, skyrocketing local property taxes, and families heading for the exit, something we cannot afford to happen. Why take this unnecessary gamble? It makes no sense to me. I respectfully urge the council and the city manager to not allow an appointed board to get in the way of pursuing the best opportunity for the city and to continue to do the right thing and support Collie. Thank you.
Thank you.
Leo Cregan. Leo Cregan.
Hi. I want to thank everyone again for the opportunity to speak and again reaffirm kind of my commitment and explanation why I think Collie is
Address.
the best site.
Address,
My
please.
address is 21 O'Hare Way, Lowell, Mass. You know, I'd also like to echo, I think this is fantastic that so many people are involved in paying attention to the process and understanding what's happening. And no solution is perfect. Collie's not perfect, downtown's not perfect. And anyone that tries to tell you that just isn't living in the real world. So I know people have some pretty strong opinions one way or another. And, you know, I've talked to people individually. I'm not on Facebook, but I've heard there's some constructive conversations going on, some not constructive, but I want to focus on the constructive and kind of what I think we all agree on as far as the children, the school, and whatnot. I think we can all agree, I know we can all agree on the Collie side that we need to guarantee access to whatever facility to every child in the city of Lowell. This isn't a school for the kids of Belvedere. This is a school for the kids of Lowell. And anything kind of said to the contrary just isn't factual. No kid should have to pick between getting to school and eating. That should not happen, and I don't understand how it would happen I have faith in the city and the community that we can come together and figure out how to get kids in need to the school without making them pick between food and a bus ride. And I also believe a bus ride, to quote a friend of mine, is a tool for education and not a hindrance to education. Kids take buses today from all over the city, from the Hunts Falls Bridge over to the Sullivan School or the Riley School. And I mean, you all know Colley Stadium's about another 500 yards down the street. So it doesn't seem like that impossible of a task. I think another thing we could all agree on is we don't want to have kids in a less than ideal learning environment for 4 years, a construction zone, and you can call it what you want, but that's what it is. It's going to be a giant renovation of a giant school for at least 4 to 5 years, and I hope we could all agree we don't want kids in modulars. And I know that modulars in some of the literature, they've been replaced with asterisks and sayings like, a conceptual level, maybe they won't be needed anymore. It went from 20 to an asterisk. I don't know how that works. It kind of looks to me like maybe kind of an optics management. It just doesn't look good, so let's try to find a way to say it another way. And then, and also, say what you want, and I know, I have complete faith that these professionals are going to do everything they can to minimize the risk of exposure to any hazardous substance or any safety issue to these kids. But at the end of the day, the phrase is still minimize risk. It's not eliminate risk. And I don't know why we would put children, educators, staff in a position where they could possibly be in a contaminated situation. It just, I don't get it. Maybe someone could explain it to me. And it's not meant to, be over dramatic about it. I mean, I don't know what to say to those people who believe that, but it's really just, it's just a fact. We need to protect these kids. Again, one site also meets all the educational objectives. I don't know if that one will turn into an asterisk too, and maybe there'll be, some other saying to say the other ones also meet those objectives. And I believe, I don't want to misquote, but I believe I heard the superintendent say, that's it? Can I say one last thing?
Well, you can wrap it up, but you're over the
Wrapping it
clock.
up, that the redevelopment would cost the city of Lowell 500 students. And that's just not acceptable when it doesn't have to be. We can build a Colley. Thank you.
Peter Martin. Peter Martin.
Hi, it's Peter Martin. I live at 62 Parkview Ave. I'm an alum of Lowell High School, class of '99, product of multiple generations of LHA alumni, teachers, administrators, the parent of 2 future Lowell Public School students as of next June, a taxpayer, and above all, an intensely proud citizen of this great city. All of that and more is what constitutes my personal identity, which in turn informs my own personal perspective into this debate and the enormous decision before the council. The truth is, I can recognize arguments from both sides, especially as it's been argued by my many friends, family who support the Colley plan. It's clear there's a lot of division on this. From my specific perspective, that plan might actually advantage my sons in many ways, and I do recognize that. As Belvedere residents from outside the immediate surrounding streets, they'd be able to walk to high school. They wouldn't be adversely impacted by major issues around transportation, parking, or the water table. As boys, the fields they're likely to use be untouched, as only girls' fields are being eliminated. It's born into a middle-class family, they're unlikely to rely as much on the many downtown organizations that help give so many kids a shot at attending college or finding employment opportunities after graduation. All that being said, I can't in good conscience support a plan that provides my sons with an advantage at the cost of the majority of the student body. My wife and I, an out-of-towner who loves Lowell, chose to buy a home and raise our family in Lowell because of its unique urban identity and the rich diversity of perspectives that it will expose our sons to. We believe very strongly in the idea that you don't raise children, you raise adults. And the portion of my education that served me best as an adult and best prepared me for the real world wasn't elementary school, middle school, or college. It was Lowell High School. It's where I met hundreds of kids with different backgrounds and experiences than me. It's where I was introduced to the downtown, a fascinating kaleidoscope of cultures, ethnicities, arts, and commerce. And it's where I reached my first understanding of how to respect different perspectives and bridge the gaps between them, something that's been a cornerstone of my adult life and career. With that in mind, I would urge the council to take a step back and consider the perspectives of all of your constituents, not just people like me. Give an equal voice to the 1,200 students and their families in downtown, the Acre, and the Lowell Highlands who are currently able to walk to school downtown, not just those who can afford to drive or walk to Collie. Give an equal voice to students in Pawtucketville, Centerville, and the Highlands who would have to take multiple buses each day to reach the Tewksbury line, and to residents of those neighborhoods who would see their home values drop as the school moves away. Give an equal voice to female athletes who would see multiple fields that generations fought to have built reduced to a single, smaller, inherently inequitable multi-purpose field. Give an equal voice to the theater kids, the dance troops, the debate kids, and local groups who rely on the historic 1,200-seat theater, and give an equal voice to taxpayers who may or may not have kids but who will still be on the hook for the tens of millions in excess costs that could go towards a new police station, new streets, new infrastructure. Give every citizen a voice, and if you still think that moving the high school out of downtown is an equitable solution, then vote your conscience. We'll still be here, and that's all we can ask.
Thank you.
Also, I don't know, I have, we started a petition last Thursday, and so in the past 5 days, this is how many signatures we've received, and there's a ton of messages in here, so I'd like to distribute them to the council if that's okay.
Matthew LaLasha. Matthew LaLasha.
Mr. Mayor, City Manager, members of the council, and to all that are here tonight, my name is Matthew LaLasher. I live at 39 Perrin Way, proud Pawtucketville resident, graduate of Lowell High School, and currently father of 3 little Lowellians, for which this decision will have a large impact on their future. I've been blessed in my life to get to know and learn from many of the civic leaders that are both here in this room and have come prior to this time. During that time, one thing that you will find and that we're seeing tonight, which I echo from many of the speakers that have come before me here so far, when we unite, when we talk this out, when we really step forward and look at all the options, we come to the best solution, we come to the best decision. I am an ardent supporter of the Collie solution. I believe that there's an opportunity here before us as someone who lives about as far away as you can from where this school would go. It is not about the difficulties that may come before my child or the advantages that may come to those that can walk to the school. It's about what's best for all of the children. Completely agree. And the pro-Collie side, the pro-downtown side, I think we all agree that that is the proper thing we should be focused on. Regardless of which solution comes forward, we'll make sure that is best. What I'd like to do, though, is just take a minute to step back and look at the history of when decisions like this have come before us in the past. The previous speaker mentioned Dr. Patrick Mogan and Senator Paul Tsongas and the decisions that they made at a time when our mill buildings, as a previous speaker mentioned, in the 50s, 60s, and into the 70s, looked like a bombed-out World War II European city. They stepped forward and looked at the idea and the concept of an urban national park. Can anybody honestly believe that they weren't laughed out of the building when those first things were said? And now look at the jewel we have before us today because of the vision and passion that they had. Look at the passion that's in this room tonight. We can do these types of things. We can get it right. We got it right there. In the 90s, when civic leaders, not the least of which the current headmaster, Mr. Brian Martin, as city manager, and others, stepped forward to try to get us a baseball stadium, an arena, the beginnings of the JAM plan, which is now the Hamilton Canal Project, the guts and the vision that they showed to be able to go after those dreams. And look what we now have today. We're on the precipice of another moment like that. And I don't want to see that be derailed by people who are trying to send innuendo in either direction. I truly believe that the problems that we may have out at the Collie site can be solved if we work together. I'm a believer that there's an opportunity before us for economic development, for a suburban style learning environment in an urban setting. It's not often that this type of opportunity will ever come. It may never come again. And so when we hear that a lot of what is the history of this city are buildings, it's not buildings, it's people, it's us. It's our passion, it's our vision, it's what we want. And at this time, as anybody who reads the Lowell Sun on a Saturday will tell you, Kendall Wallace is famous for championing all the great things that go on in this city, except a couple times every 2 years when we have low voter turnout and we hear that there aren't enough people engaged and involved. Look at this. And for those who are watching on TV, this is great. Stay involved, listen, have your voice be heard. The next generation of civic leaders will arise from what's going on here today, and I hope the pro-Collie people and the downtown people listen. I hope you'll advance all 4 options. Thank you.
Thank you.
Brian Mead. Brian Mead.
Good evening. Brian Mead, 80 Elliott Drive, Lowell, Mass. 1996, graduate of Lowell High School. Got 3 kids, will be there eventually. All right, so we already know that the kids get a great education downtown, and I don't doubt that many kids would get a great education at Collie. But for me, it's indisputable that the central location of the downtown school is what's best for Lowell and its students. Both options have measures of risk, okay? Parents of kids who will be attending the school during the renovation have major concerns about modulars and learning disruption. Pro-downtown folks are concerned about the remote location of Collie and the negative outcomes associated with it. This debate has us trying to figure out which location that has more downside risk for the students in the city, both now and in the future. Using personal experience and looking at costs, my position is that moving the high school has much greater risk. Parents' concerns are legitimate, and every effort and accommodation must be made to ensure them that their kids' time at LHS won't be negatively affected by the renovation. Skansa was chosen because of this exact reason. They have great experience in renovating high schools. If the MSBA didn't think this could be done appropriately, they wouldn't allow it. As for the modulars, they will certainly be better than a better educational environment than the current Lord building windowless classrooms. I can attest to this because as a 6th grade student at the LeBlanc School, I spent a year in one. At the time, it was modern, clean, had lots of windows, nice bathrooms, and most importantly, had AC. I then had a couple classes at the Moody in portables as well. Okay, I say this not because we'll even need modulars with my preferred option number 3, but by being so against them as a negotiating tactic that will unnecessarily lengthen the renovation timeline. If Winchester kids can manage with 36 modular classrooms, maybe Lowell kids can handle a few. Access to Collie for all Lowell kids will not be easy or cheap. Over a third of kids currently walk to the school. Having to subsidize busing for kids for the next 100 years is a cost we don't need. When times are tough and cuts have to be made, it's teachers that will have to let go because you can't defund kids' transportation to school. We can all agree that traffic is awful in this city. Many kids from Middlesex Village in the Highlands, Centerville, Pawtuckaville will have grueling, twice-a-day bus commutes. Imagine what it will be like when a bridge needs repair. Tardiness and absenteeism will increase along with dropout rates. High school dropouts are more likely to do drugs and commit crimes. These issues eventually will affect all of us. Lastly, I want to talk about athletics. I played football and baseball at the high school. Any gains that we hope to achieve at the Collie site are negated by losing 4 essential fields. Where are we going to replicate them? This city is maxed out for space. How are the various freshman and JV teams going to manage without having to bust them out? Just a couple months ago, this council had a discussion about putting lights at the South Common. One of the reasons for this was the Lowell Junior High football went from 2 to 6 teams. They have 150 kids, and they're running out of space. These issues will only be exacerbated by taking away those fields. Title IX issues may also come into play because softball and lacrosse both play in the same season and will have to share space. I want the high school to remain downtown, but at the end of the day, we need to come together and support whichever location gets picked. Thank you.
Thank you.
Marco Leonardo.
Hello, my name is Dolores Sierra. I live at 7 O'Brien Terrace, and I have to translate for him because he speaks Spanish.
Buenas noches, cónsul, caballeros presentes, público en general.
Good night to everyone, public, counselors, mayor.
Mi nombre es Marco Leonardo.
My name is Marco Leonardo.
Vivo en la 387 de Market Street
He lives at 380 Market Street.
y estoy aquí representando a la comunidad latina
I am here representing the Hispanic community
porque estamos en un país que vela por los derechos, la igualdad de religión, color,
We are here in a country that protects the rights, cultures, and nations.
y por tal razón estoy presente para dar a conocer que nosotros estamos interesados en saber cuáles son los proyectos que tiene la ciudad,
And we're here because we are very interested in knowing what the different projects the city is working on.
porque no tenemos conocimiento
Because
del movimiento de la escuela,
we do not have knowledge about the movement of the high school.
no hemos recibido información acerca de este movimiento
We have not received any information about the movement of the high school.
y sabemos que nosotros somos un 36% del alumnado de la high school.
And we understand that we are about 38% of the student body of the high school.
Y por tal razón queremos abogar a que se nos permita poder nosotros tener una voz en este lugar y dar a nuestros puntos de vista tal y como lo ha hecho el público que está presente.
And we are here today to have a voice and give our opinion just like everybody else has done.
Sabemos que es diferente idioma,
We understand it's a different language,
pero nuestro voto ha sido el que ha apoyado a que ustedes también estén hoy aquí adelante de nosotros.
He says that our vote has also counted for you guys to be here today.
Por tal razón necesitamos ser escuchados
For that reason, we should also be heard
para que tomen en cuenta nuestros puntos de vista y lo que nosotros necesitamos para esta ciudad.
so that you guys can see the points of views that we have for the city of Lowell.
Porque no estamos de acuerdo en perder un valor histórico en el cual nuestros hijos se han desarrollado.
We are in disagreement of losing a historical part of the city.
Aparte de una educación en la cual va a afectar no solo a la comunidad latina, sino va a afectar a toda la comunidad en general.
He says that it's not just going to affect just the Hispanic students, but it's going to affect all students.
Y como comunidad, no importa el idioma, pero importa que todos estemos unidos.
It doesn't, he says, as a community, it doesn't matter the language. It just matters if we're united.
Y ustedes hoy aquí deben de velar porque esta comunidad esté conforme, contenta y viviendo bien acerca de esta situación que está pasando.
And he says that all of you guys presented here just have to understand that we just want to be united, and that you guys understand it's not just for one group, but it's for everyone.
Algo que deben de tomar en cuenta es no solo el valor histórico que se puede perder,
One thing that you should have in point is not just the value that you will be losing as historical,
sino las inversiones que hoy pueden hacer van a afectar tanto hoy a nuestros hijos como a nuestros futuros nietos o personas que vamos a tener hijos dentro de unos cuantos años más.
it's also going to affect all the economical boundaries or businesses around us, not just our children, but future children, our grandkids, and all the kids that are going to keep coming.
Por tal razón, yo los invito a que analicen y evalúen lo que ustedes están planificando, pero tomen en cuenta el voto de la comunidad, porque ustedes están para velar por nuestra comunidad, por todos nosotros.
So I advise you to really step back and really analyze what you guys are going to decide. It's not just going to affect the city of Lowell, but it's going to affect all the community and the future of our community and generations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Elmer Martinez. Elmer Martinez.
Hello, my name is Elmer Martinez of 1367 Pawtucket Boulevard. Before I begin, I'd like to say thank you to the previous speaker for representing the Latino community. Gracias, señor, por su voz. Muy importante para todos nosotros. I'm a graduate of Lowell High School from the class of 2015, and I was blessed enough to be the president of my class. So yes, I'm 20 years old. So I count myself among the future fiscal servers of the city. I currently attend Emerson College on Boylston Street, and I'm studying stage design and technology with a concentration in lighting design and dance minor. And I strongly feel that the high school should remain in the downtown location for the following reasons. I want to begin with the benefits of the location as service to Lowell High School experience, as well as how the high school benefits the entities adjacent to it. And some feel that not having a high school with a traditional campus with outdoor fields and private parking is a disservice to its students, but I've always believed that the city is our campus. Listed here are invaluable resources I had access to as a student based on the current location. These things include eateries and small local businesses before and after classes, the Pollard Memorial Library, the Robert B. Kennedy Transfer Center, which is a 15-minute walk. I've walked it often. All the bus stops in the area, the Merrimack Community College buildings, programs, and all the meetings we can have there, library access through the dual enrollment program, which I was a member of in my time in high school, the UMass Lowell buildings and programs for meetings. And you have access to some of the most beautiful historic pathways, landmarks, museums, monuments, and for a variety of different courses held throughout the high schools, after-school programs, and even classes during the day, like photography classes. So I want to move on to local businesses and how they benefit from the current location of Lowell High School. And we must admit that the people funding the businesses in and around downtown aren't the college students like myself, who are already neck deep in debt as it is. And you don't see an abundance of working-class middle-aged Lowellians filling those shops up. The lifeblood of the businesses are the high school students that pack the stores with their extra spending money from part-time jobs and allowances that don't go into adult responsibilities and bills. And it doesn't take much to see the shift in foot traffic in downtown from the school months compared to the summer. It's extremely drastic. And why do stores and restaurants that have a target market of 25 plus keep going out of business in downtown locations? And it's because those demographics that they're targeting aren't necessarily going to their outings in the downtown area, and they're not buying their goods in the downtown area, and the numbers needed to support these establishments. And I've seen it reflected in how the city has reacted to this loss in economy over the summer months. So why are we pouring so much money in tourist attractions like the Lowell Fun Facts and the Lowell Walks and lining up the canalways? It's not just for beautification. We're trying to get the foot traffic back. So I think this is a testament to how the students really affect the economy in downtown. Next, I want to address the culture as it pertains to the proximity of the community, establishment and organizations in the area in a non-economic sense. My friends and I grew up in modest household incomes. We had broken home lives. This includes reality like single parents, grandparents doing their best, homelessness, threat of eviction. Breakfast for me was the school breakfast. I will admit in front of everyone in the city that we didn't have food in every morning in my house. So getting to school on time mattered to me as far as food was concerned. And getting involved in drug dealing and making money to help out, getting legitimate jobs to help the household or just to eat. Some of us that was part of our reality in high school. Many of us are first-generation Lowellians, or we came here when we were very young, and having immigrant parents that had to work all day, or a large part of our upbringing involved after-school programs and community organizations that are adjacent to, if not located at, the Lowell High School. Some of the organizations that kept us off the streets included Teen Block, Lowell Community Health Center, the Boys and Girls Club of America, Encore Dance Troupe, the Lowell High School 21st Century Compass Program, 30-plus clubs and orgs offered at Lowell High, UTEC, Girls Inc., YMCA. So these organizations are within 25 minutes walking distance of the current Lowell High School campus, if not one short accessible bus ride away. A move to the proposed Colley Stadium location will cause these walkable distances to become a thing of the past for students who don't have cars, which is most of us, or at least when I was there 2 years ago, it was. The close proximity of these locations made it possible for students to feel safe walking the city in groups or alone on their way to mentioned programs above. And getting picked up by a guardian or taking the bus from a nearby stop after rehearsals or meetings or practices was convenient due to downtown Lowell being equidistant to all the parts of the city. And I want to make a very important note on that. So as we highlight the note of the role of the equidistance of the high school in the middle of the city, well, I'm going to just reiterate the point that over 1/3 of the students at Lowell High School walk to school. And for me and for countless other Pawtuckettville residents, even taking the city bus meant a 20 to 35-minute commute due to UMass Lowell North Campus student blockades, the morning commute traffic, and everything that involves being a commuter. The bus sometimes was late because of all this traffic, or it would be too early trying to make its quota and leave us behind. And the walking distance from my end of town, closer to the vocational school actually, is between 45 minutes or an hour to 20 minutes. So imagine being a Pawtuckettville kid trying to get up extra early to ride about an hour to the Crawley location. You got no breakfast at home, trying to make it on time. And if you miss your bus, you'll get to be late. You got to scramble to find a ride that also has to get through the morning traffic. Or you're going to have to take a taxi or an Uber with what money? And also, God forbid, you might have to walk 2 hours just to make it to school, like 2 hours late. It's ridiculous for me.
Mr. Martinez?
Yes.
I'm sorry, you're beyond 5 minutes. Can
Okay.
you wrap it up soon?
Final. So my point really is you're losing so much culture, history, economic success when you're moving this. And this high school prepared me to be a student in downtown Boston, made me aware. It made me ready to go on to the real world, to compete with the best students in the country based on the location. It made me a world citizen. So just don't forget who we are as a city. That's really what I want to say.
Karen Green.
I'm Karen Green, 91 Elliott Drive. Mayor Kennedy, City Manager Murphy, and members of the City Council. My husband Jack could not attend this meeting this evening. I speak on behalf of both of us. We are in favor of Lowell High School staying in the downtown site. First, for the students' sake, in providing a rich educational setting in the center of our historical, beautiful city. We believe this is an important part of our educational experience, as it was when our children were here, and certainly a state-of-the-art high school would be terrific in the hub of the city. It would be surrounded by our local businesses, arts, sports, and theater venues, and our city government, along with the added safety of our central police station. It is also our understanding that the downtown project would be a cheaper option considering the infrastructure improvements that would be required at Cawley, which will increase the cost for taxpayers. We have not heard an economic case being made that favors Cawley. The cost of transporting students from the Highlands, Pawtuckettville, Centerville, and the Acre to a remote corner of the city will undoubtedly be higher, with the taxpayers footing the bill. It will mean longer bus rides for those students who are transported to school, and it will also make it more difficult for those students who now walk to school. The central location of a downtown school makes much more sense. In moving forward with the downtown option, we understand that there is a commercial property that needs to be relocated. We would support paying the asking price within reason and acquiring that property. It's likely that any reasonable price paid for that property will still leave the downtown location a cheaper option. Concerning cost, we are also concerned about the Chapter 97 issue at Cawley and the cost to comply with any measures associated with it. We understand that the other municipalities have had significant ongoing costs relative to this issue with no easy resolution. Lastly, as homeowners, we are concerned about the traffic issues that would face us in the Belvedere neighborhoods with the high school at Cawley. We think it's a legitimate concern that needs to be addressed. In closing, I would like to say that although we are from Belvedere, we are not motivated by that not in my backyard attitude. We are concerned citizens and lifelong residents in the city. My husband Jack is from the Highlands, and I am from Belvedere, and we love this city. We truly believe that the high school is an important part of our historic downtown, and its central location is vital to the education of the children of the city of Lowell and the children for all generations to come. Our children did graduate from Lowell High School in its downtown location and were much better for that experience. I thank you.
Thank you.
Jim Tagg.
My name's Jim Tagg. I live at 382 University Avenue. I don't have any children that are going to be attending the high school. I raised 4 children myself. 3 of them graduated from Lowell High. They identify themselves. They've moved across the country at various times, and they've always identified themselves. When someone says, "Where are you from?" they're from Lowell. I have a daughter who attended the Voc, fine school. People ask her when she moved to New Jersey, "Where are you from?" She's up around Boston. You know, this is, when I became a citizen of Lowell, was just after I addressed this council when I was 14 years old, when they were closing Keith Academy. I went down to the high school for a year. Always walked to school my entire career. But when I walked downtown, I got something different. I walked down Lucy Larkin Park, and I saw how they built the canals. And I saw the Boston and Lowell Railroad, one of the first in the country. And I saw the mill where my grandmother, who didn't graduate high school, went to work at age 11 when she left when she arrived here from Ireland. And my grandfather, I saw the mill where he earned his living. I became part of the city in the time I spent at Lowell High. On my way down here tonight, I talked to my eldest child, who graduated from Lowell High. I think it was 97. She's the president of the National Honor Society. She was an athlete, lettered in track and swimming every year that she was there. She's been very successful in the future. She loved the downtown location. She was close to the University of Lowell, where she took classes, and Middlesex Community College was just starting up classes in the area. They made classes available to the students. I had an ex-wife I was dealing with that sometimes that got into the children. They could go down, they had to come down to the courthouse once in a while and walk back to school. You know, there's something to be said for this. Cawley Stadium's Tewksbury. I grew up in Belvedere. I love Cawley Stadium. It's a beautiful area. And frankly, I have nothing against that as a location, except the city. The city is right here across the street. The city is what I walk to every day. I sit there, my children always walk to school. My son still walks, he won't get a license. He loves this city. He does everything in the city walking around. He learned that walking to Lowell High. Hell, I don't think he ever made it to St. Margaret's when he was 2 blocks away. But Lowell High School, he came downtown. He still does business in the city with the small purchases with the local businessmen. But I think this school is what makes so many of our kids, like my 3 older children say, they're from Lowell. They're not from Boston. They're not from the Voc. They're not from some other suburban school. They're not from they're from Lowell. You know, where'd you go to school? I went to Lowell High. They say that with pride. You know, my folks pulled me out of there and sent me someplace else after a year because I was kind of well, we won't go down that road. But I remember that year I spent there. I remember it well. And it made me a part of this city more than I can express. I think moving this out of downtown is a mistake. And I think the next generations and the generations to come of Lowell students will be the losers should we do that. In the effort of fairness, though, you know, we do have to do something about the high school. And my purpose is to keep the high school downtown. But I hope tonight you'll move these 4 proposals forward so that there's, I think we're only just now getting the interest of the public and the input that you're going to need to make, which is a serious decision. And if I believe it's done with good faith, and I have no reason to believe otherwise, I'll be ready to support it. But I really and truly think that we're going to lose something in the very fabric of this city if we take the high school out of the downtown area. Thank you.
Barack Way. Barack Way.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, City Manager Murphy, and to all of the city councilors and to all of the concerned citizens. My name is Verak Oy, and I am the board president of Cambodian Mutual Assistance Association. I have a son, his name is Logan. He's a second grader at Pawtucketville Elementary School. He's not in high school yet, but the decision we make today will have a great impact on his education experience. On behalf of the Cambodian community, I'm very grateful to have this opportunity to express our concerns and the excitement for the Lowell High School project. Unlike other previous speakers here tonight, I'm here to focus on the communication process rather than any particular location preference. As an organization, we hope to be able to partner with the city to ensure that our community is part of the process and there is an effective communication between the city and the community. This is especially critical for those families who has a language barrier. If you look around here tonight, there's less than 10 Cambodians here, and most of them are seniors in high school, junior in the Lowell High School, so it's great to see the young people engage in this process. But that's very small compared to the 40,000 Cambodian residents that live in Lowell. And as you know, there are a significant number of Cambodian student population that is part of the Lowell High School learning community. And also there are many Cambodian homeowners. As such, we want to make sure to ensure that our community understands the big picture of this project and the property taxes implication in the years to come. To help keep our community informed and provide them with the opportunity to voice their needs and concern, we would like to assist the city in this project by hosting future meetings at CMAA, translation services, and data collection around the community. This project will have a profound impact on our families and our children's education. CMAA would like to help in making sure that all our constituents has a voice in this process. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Maria Sheehy.
Hi, my name is Maria Sheehy. I live at 1 Adam Terrace. I am a lifelong Lowell resident, a Lowell High School alum, a parent of an LHS alum, the parent of a current senior at the high school, and I'm the aunt of children who will attend during any period of renovation or construction. And I'm here tonight to express my support for Lowell High School remaining downtown for several reasons. First, as a community, I think we have an obligation to do what's best for all of Lowell's children, including those children who are going to attend for decades to come. There's varying estimates that I have heard, everything from between 800 and 1,400 children walk to Lowell High School every day. Let's take the bottom number. Let's assume it's 800. That's a lot of kids. And I'd just ask everybody in this room to think about if that were your child. We just heard very eloquent testimony of Mr. Martinez about the obstacles that he faces every day. You know, I personally know many of these children. They come from every ethnic and socioeconomic background, from every neighborhood in the city. For some of them, life is filled with obstacles. And I don't think getting to school should be another one of them. I keep hearing that Colley Stadium is where we can best meet the educational goals and objectives for all of our students. However, how are we going to meet those educational goals and objectives if we put an obstacle in the way of children even getting there on a daily basis? That's not meeting our educational goals and objectives. My second reason that I believe the high school should remain downtown is because of the long-term future of our city. I think that we need to make sure that Lowell is the kind of place where the kids we are educating today want to come back to. Whatever success downtown Lowell has had, I believe, can be attributed to many factors, but not the least of which is the fact that we've embraced our urban identity. We're not Tewksbury, we're not Dracut, and we're not Chelmsford. We know that. Moving to Cawley is chasing some suburban dream when we really should be focusing on trying to be the best urban high school in the country. I think removing the high school from downtown will diminish the vitality of the downtown and the economy of the downtown. Think about the incidental interactions that people have when they attend events at Lowell High School. Just one example, National Honor Society induction ceremony every year. Every restaurant in downtown Lowell benefits from that event. Every restaurant is full of families, and that's just one example. Think about how many events like that happen every year. What I foresee is a large gaping vacancy at the corner of Arcand and Father Morissette Drive. What kind of message does that give to the hundreds of thousands of people who visit Lowell each year? That we didn't think downtown Lowell was good enough to educate our kids here, but we want them to come visit and spend their hard-earned money here? I think it's going to be a final dramatic blow to the downtown, and one that ultimately this city council will regret. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Natalia Sezonwonk.
Hello, my name is Natalia Trevonka, 43 Gerson Terrace in Belvedere, Lowell High class of 2012. I just graduated in May from the Ivy League, University of Pennsylvania, and my stance is downtown. The reason I went to the school I went to all goes back to the fact that I went to Lowell High School, not a plain, sheltered, rural public high school, which is what LHS will resemble if it moves to Cawley. I got into Penn because I went to Lowell High, at a time when it more so resembles the Boston Latin School, at a time when it is in an urban, vibrant environment, and it does not cater to the wants of a few, but is there for the needs of its majority. And I can say all this because, one, I work with Penn Admissions to recruit prospective students. And two, 4 years ago when I started at Penn, an admissions officer sought me out. He told me he recognized my name. He had read my college essay, and I had been accepted at Penn precisely because I came from an inner city school. I had the type of well-roundedness and life experiences that top schools were searching for because I went to Lowell High in downtown Lowell. So, and other reasons, Lowell High's location downtown increases the opportunity for Lowell's kids to be socially and economically mobile. First, the connection with UMass and MCC offers kids who otherwise might not even consider going to college the chance to attend college classes for free. For those percentage of students whose parents never went to college, who might not automatically know the benefit of that type of education, who might think they're not cut out for it, whatever, this is their chance to at least try it out and possibly realize that college is something they want to pursue. Also, once LHS students who have taken classes at UMass or MCC, once they go to college, they are able to transfer those credits, meaning by taking them for free at LHS, they save money in college on a couple of classes and might even be able to graduate early. Lastly, for students who really want to challenge themselves, who want to get into the most competitive school they can, the partnership with UMass and MCC is their ticket to that. I would not have gotten into Penn if I couldn't take classes at UMass, if Lowell High was not in downtown. Getting into college is sometimes a quota game. By being an inner-city urban public high school, LHS students are actually desirable by most college admissions committees. These colleges need a certain amount of kids from private and public schools, rural and urban areas, and the fact is, you'd be hard-pressed to find an urban, inner-city school that's as diverse as Lowell is, that also allows the students to take college classes. The opposition can make the promise that we don't have to lose that connection with UMass and MCC, and if LHS does end up moving to Cawley, that promise better be kept, but I can see plenty of obstacles standing in the way. For one, transportation, which a lot of people have gone into tonight. I think my point on that is transporting kids to take a class at a college about 3 miles away by bus might make them miss third period AP Calc or whatever, or fifth period English or something. They're going to lose something on the back end as well. And maybe we could try and do the college thing, the college partnership online. But I would say that for those who want to take university classes to boost their chances into getting into a competitive college, online classes actually just don't cut it. College admissions want to see that you can thrive in an actual college environment. We want to see that you can hold your own in the classroom. Half the benefit of a college class is that you would be exposed to other classmates who might have different life experiences from you and have different ways of seeing things. And also for those who are using the UMass classes or the MCC classes to see if they want to go to college, the online system won't really help them make that decision quite as well as like the physical presence of being in a college classroom would. I don't want to see Lowell become a bit woefully sheltered like some neighboring towns. I want to see LHS continue to follow the example of the Boston Latin School. Lowell High boasts about its diversity all the time, but diversity in itself means nothing if we don't pursue a policy that embraces and accommodates it. Thank you.
Brian Martin. Brian Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Manager, and city councilors. I apologize. I would have been here 2 weeks ago, but I was sick. But I would have been alone, I think, in my position that night. So, and nevertheless, I'm here this evening and delighted with the turnout. As the Lowell High School head of school, I believe it's important that the city council and the community understand my position on the school building project. When I was appointed to the school building committee by the city manager and the superintendent, I had pledged to work through the process until we got to the point where we had to make a choice on the final four. And I did that, and I actually had my nephew who spoke this evening calling me saying, "I hear you're for Cawley, what are you doing?" But I had committed to following the process and trying to make a good decision in what I thought was in the best interest of our students. I mean, that's what it's all about. So first and foremost, I want to thank the city council and the city manager for supporting a new school. There's no debate about that, which I think is fantastic for our city. Our students and families deserve the best and nothing less. Lowell High School has a rich tradition of academic excellence going back to the 1830s. If you look at the distinguished alumni, you'll find some remarkable stories. The George Baracus, George Duncans, and Janet Lambert Moore, and Eleanor Lippman, who's a novelist speaking at the Pollard Library this evening. Joe McCarthy, Ken Wallace, Marty Meehan, Chancellor of the UMass, Arthur Anton, all terrific careers. But one of the things I learned along the way was to constantly put yourself in the position when you have to make a difficult choice of what it would be like if you were one of those students or families that were going to be impacted by the vote of the council whenever the final decision is made. And so I, as the head of school, honestly believe that my role should be to think what it would be like to live where Elmer Martinez lived, or some of the other students that grew up in the, growing up in the Acre, or Middlesex Village, or Pawtucketville, that would completely change the dynamics of their high school education if the high school were not downtown. So the question that must be decided in the next few months is what site provides the best opportunity to level the playing field for all of Lowell's families, students alike. What site provides equal access and fairness to all of Lowell's families? What's best for all kids for the next 50 to 75 years? I believe the answer is a simple one. Maintaining a centralized location that is equidistant for all families, that allows the most students to walk to and from school, that allows for connections to city services, maintains a presence in an urban setting in a national park. How many public high schools are designated as national and state historic places and listed in a national park preservation district? I think there's one. How many public high schools offer a walking tour history course that allows students to research and physically connect to buildings, places, and people in their community? Lowell High School does. How many public high schools have walking access to the Songus Industrial History Center, to the University of Massachusetts Lowell, Middlesex, and the great Pollard Library next door. So there are four specific points I'd like to make supporting the downtown location. The downtown site, with all the partnerships and community connections, offers the best educational opportunity for all of our students. Just in our Pathways programs, government, businesses, and community organizations are clustered in the downtown, providing Lowell High School internships and partners that offer hands-on experience for our students. Our school store is right on Merrimack Street, and our students walk between the school and the store. And recently, the high school signed an articulation agreement with Middlesex Community College as another example for the dance program. And when the Dance Performing Arts Center comes on for Middlesex, our students will be using that facility, working with their students, and hopefully many of our students will pursue their secondary education because of that kind of a connection. My second point is the downtown site is centrally located, making it accessible to all students, and especially family members attending after-school and evening events. How would a parent go to see one of their sons or daughters at an activity at night if they live in the core of the city? They take an Uber or a taxi? I mean, how unfair is that? I think this has to be a consideration for those families that want to be part of their son or daughter's education and go to events, and the central location is a fair and equitable opportunity to everyone if it's downtown. The third point is the loss of 400 staff members and 3,100 students in the downtown would have a significant economic impact. I would ask the council this evening, if a company was going to abandon the downtown that had 400 employees, I think the council would go berserk. 400 employees are going to leave downtown. And what reaction would there be to do something about that? My fourth concern, and my last one, is about the school, in the discussion about the school being under construction. While a student is attending, this is an issue, but it can be addressed with strong school leadership and construction management, which we believe we had. But think about this. In the last 10 years, the University of Massachusetts at Lowell has actually built what's equivalent to 4 high school projects. Students learn from it and actually embrace opportunities to learn more about architecture, engineering, construction, and experience what that's all about. I think that's an opportunity for students, not a detriment. So I often wonder why some members of the community want to expand the community college and university footprint downtown, yet move the high school students out. Approximately 200 Lowell High School graduates each year enroll at Middlesex Community College. They leave Lowell High, they go to Middlesex. So they leave Lowell High and we don't want you here, but you go to Middlesex and we want you here. They're the same kids. And we're averaging over 200, Mr. Samaras would do that, every year leave Lowell High School and enroll at Middlesex. A great institution that's a terrific partner for our school. In closing, Lowell High School is the only institution in the city in which the majority of native Lowellians will pass. It's the most diverse and inclusive institution in the city. Having it in the heart of the city says a lot about Lowell. Visitors to the city, the National Park, the Songus Center, Boarding House Park, all see the high school as an integral part of the center of the city. So I would ask everyone here this evening to consider spending some time in the morning watching the kids come to school. Just take the time to go to Kirk Street or Father Morissette Boulevard and watch as our students walk to school, get dropped off, or come through the garage, and watch the Lowell High School students wake the city up every morning with their energy, with their excitement, and their hopes and dreams to be successful. That's why Lowell High School should stay downtown. Thank you very much.
I hope you said Stephen Anstey.
Yes.
That's me. All right, I'm Stephen Anstey, 231 Mount Hope Street from Pawtucketville, and I have the rare privilege to follow Brian Martin's awesomeness. Thank you. Good evening. I am the proud father of 2 LHS grads, the first public co-educational, co-ed and integrated public high school in America. And my wife and I know our children received a quality education in LHS. They both went on to Boston University, well prepared academically and socially as they thrived in the city. To continue with and improve upon this high quality, there is no debate that the city of Lowell has to improve its high school facilities as soon as possible. I stand with the many people here tonight in support of keeping LHS downtown. Ultimately, I'm sure that keeping the high school downtown is the best solution for the city, and that the city council will take into account the deep and damaging impact that a move to the Colley site would have on our community. We will all talk about transportation costs and the downtown businesses, and we will talk about alternative uses for development of that property. And we need to, but we also need to recognize the irony of calling ourselves a city built on partnerships as we leave behind all the partners who have improved the lives of so many families in Lowell. We talk about partnerships with groups like CTI, Girls Inc., the Lowell Community Health Center, and many others as we move their constituents miles away, making access to their programs and services more difficult. It is vital to remember that for the dozens of ancillary groups, nonprofits, and agencies that support the community, central access is key. We cannot simply mouth the words of partnership and community taught to us by leaders like Tsongas and Mogan. The actions and decisions of Lowell must consistently and constantly prove this city to be a good faith partner, the trusted friend, and the unwavering champion of community. We talk about the strength of Lowell being in its diversity and its open arms to all new arrivals, but at the same time we ignore the dissonance as we consider moving the largest facility supporting those same people and build a barrier between them and those support services. To me, this is a gross negligence of our responsibility to be good to those in need. Tonight, I am here to remind you of the voices that you can't hear. I'm here to remind you of the thousands of families whose life will be worse if you move the high school to Colley. The families that are struggling to follow the arguments here because English is not their first language. The families who don't have the luxury of a night off of work to come to a city council meeting because it's more important that there is food on their table. And the voices of the families who have yet to arrive in Lowell who will find it more difficult to access the help they need to assimilate into our community. Then again, if you are counting voices for and against these proposals, shame on you. Your job is to do what is best for this city. Whether it is supported by the majority or not, if the majority wants something that is not good for this city, then it is your job to educate, inform, and lead them. If they will not be led, it is your job to do the right thing, even if it might cost you your seat. I am fully confident that the City Council will do its best to provide honest and complete answers to all the questions regarding the costs of development for these 4 plans and be good faith brokers. But I'd like to point out some of the things I expect to happen as an interested party. The City Council needs further answers as soon as possible on parking at Colley. Current plans show not enough. We need exact costs of building sidewalks and roads that will not be reimbursable by the state, and to do these things, the city must do a traffic study to see if that location is even possible. Furthermore, the city must start to work immediately with the offices at 75 Arcan Drive, the same way they are working with the Article 97 changes to ensure that all options are clear, leaving no barriers to this project. The council must deeply weigh the tremendous impact of losing the large size of the Irish Auditorium and the impact it would have on the arts programs of the high school and the community beyond. The size of an auditorium at a new location is limited by law to 750 seats. This is no small consideration when our city seal says, "Art is the handmaid of human good." The City Council needs to be sure that any study of the economic impact of LHS in downtown takes into account far more than just the impact of students and faculty on the downtown businesses. It is also about the parents who become familiar with the downtown because of the children's activities. It is about the many partners who hire those students with grants and economic development monies from state, federal, and private sources. It is about attracting families to move to Lowell to raise their kids by offering an urban campus experience that none of the communities around us can offer. It is about keeping high-risk kids in school and helping them graduate to get better jobs and become a healthy part of this city's present and future. It is also about a multitude of other events, both education-related and otherwise, that happen at LHS, which show off our city and bring people from all around to experience the very best of our city. If we fecklessly raise a generation of families afraid to be downtown, a generation we're told we are moving to high school because downtown is filled with drugs and homeless people, then yes, it will be a prophecy fulfilled and our
Excuse me.
downtown will waste away.
You're at 5. Can you wrap it up?
One more paragraph. Yeah. In the end, if a case can be made that our future would be better by making an enormous gamble at the College site, I am sure neighbors in Tewksbury would enjoy the new tax revenues that would be generated by Lowellians and their nearby restaurants and businesses. Thank you very much.
Ismael Rosado.
Once again, I'm translating. Good night. My name is Ishmael Rosario. I am from Puerto Rico and I've been living here for 8 years. I am a local artist here for 5 years. Where I am honored to see my dreams come true. I'm not here just to not to defend a small culture, but to here to defend the historical architect of a place. And also to defend the richness of our future generations and students. My passion is the industrial historical buildings that are in Lowell. And you may ask why. He says that in history it shows that the richness of what it used to be. It to grow, but also Lowell reborns in its own history. And this city is an example of that. He says that immigrants that came here were the ones who started that, just like strong women who worked here. Lowell to me is a place where I don't know many people. He says the long summers is an advantage because they're long and there's a lot of creativity and activities that are going on. Lowell, where it's a small city, they speaks more than 28 different languages. He says that this place is a well-being where he doesn't have to travel to other places because he connects with other people here. Today is the decision of the choices of where Lowell High will be. He would like to see students to know and understand and love their city just as their parents do.
estudiantes y después de 4 años nunca vuelvan a esta ciudad.
He would not like the city to be a university city where students will just come for 4 years and then just leave.
No me gustaría una ciudad de transición, eso que vemos en las grandes ciudades como New York y Boston.
He would not like to see a city where it's just transitions like New York and Boston.
Lo que me gustaría es una ciudad con el suficiente sentido de pertenencia, de querer, estar, cuidar, valorar, y solo se logra creciendo en él.
He would like to see a city where people value, honor, and respect being here.
El enriquecimiento a la juventud por el amor a la ciudad.
And the richness of the students loving the city.
La relación de los eventos, festivales de la ciudad para el enriquecimiento del estudiante como museo, galerías, café, restaurantes.
And also the richness of the arts, restaurant activities, things that are happening in the city.
Me gustaría que la high school, como un patrimonio arquitectónico, siendo parte de parques nacionales de Lowell, conectado con galerías, el estudiante se sienta parte de un legado de esta ciudad.
He would like to see the Lowell Highs.
It's time to wrap it up.
He'll wrap it up now.
Okay. No queremos una ciudad ocupada por su totalidad de estudiantes universitarios o
We don't want to see just university students. We want to see high school students.
queremos asegurar el enriquecimiento cultural de nuestros estudiantes de la ciudad de Lowell
And we want to see the richness of the students
para que tengan alas para volar,
so that they have wings to fly
crecer a cualquier parte del mundo,
and go anywhere within the world.
pero que tengan raíces profundas para que vuelvan a su ciudad de Lowell.
But they have richness and roots so that they can return back to Lowell.
Esta será la mejor inversión para esta ciudad. Se llama amor y no habrá perdido.
And he says that this would be the best part, to just leave the high school within the city, because that will bring more people in. And
Thank
that's
you.
the part.
Maureen Hovey.
Maureen Hovey.
Maureen Hovey, 38 Upham Street. Thank you for allowing me this opportunity to speak. I live in the Highlands section of Lowell. I'm the mother of 2 sixth-grade children who will be directly impacted by your decision. I've been very involved with this because I feel it's one of the biggest challenges I faced in all my years of being a mom. While I've heard the supporters of the downtown location dismiss my fears of asbestos exposure, as well as other health and safety concerns as a scare tactic, I ask all of you, why aren't you scared? If you're not, you should be. It should scare you. If there is a human error, if somehow, some way, there is an accidental exposure or a safety incident, it's the teachers, students, our children exposed to these hazards. What do we then tell our children? Sorry? Honestly, it's not you or me. We're gambling, despite the tremendous risk. And we lost? Honestly, it's not you or me that loses, it's the children who lose. They will be paying that gambling debt, not us, with their health. I'm also frustrated by the political games being played. Every single elected and appointed city employee who has direct impact on this decision is accountable. I'm specifically concerned with the Board of Parks. Members of this board have made it clear their opinion of where the high school should be. But where the high school should be isn't their decision to make. Their decision, quite simply, is to vote in favor of moving forward with the Article 97 process. If they need a reason, I can give them one. It's the right thing to do. If any of them need more reasons, please introduce yourself to me at the end of this meeting, and we can arrange for you to meet my children, the grandchildren of Jane Horan, who on February 7th lost her battle to mesothelioma after indirect exposure to asbestos. I'll let them tell you the cost of exposure. At 11 years old, they're actually quite articulate about it. Mesothelioma is a torturous disease with no known cure. I've witnessed firsthand the horror, the pain it can cause a person. Don't, please don't ask me to trust that it will not happen. It is quite obviously a risk, or we wouldn't need monitors to check the air quality. I could not, and I will not allow my children in a high school that is being renovated where there is known asbestos present. People say this is me threatening to take my ball and go home, but it's not. This is a mother making a solemn promise, not a threat, a promise to my children. I will not take a chance, however slight, that they will be exposed to cancer-causing dust. Since we have an option that meets all of the educational needs of the children of Lowell with zero safety risks, I ask the city councilors to support the option to build a new high school at Cawley. Lastly, the proposal for a newly built state-of-the-art high school would benefit future students without the sacrifice of the current students. Please don't ask over 5,000 children to sacrifice the quality of their high school experience to the benefit of children that come after them. They deserve the same amount of respect as the future students. Don't they have a right to a safe, uninterrupted education? Thank you.
Elizabeth Donahue. Elizabeth Donahue. Elizabeth Donahue.
Elizabeth Donahue, 49 Windsor Park Road. Mayor Kennedy, City Manager Murphy, and members of the City Council, I would like to begin with thanking you for presenting this forum for members of the community to express their concerns. I'm a proud Lowell High graduate, class of 2015. I go to UMass Amherst, and to speak today, I drove 2 hours to Lowell. Throughout my collegiate experience, I find my heart coming back to Lowell High. The walls of the Freshman Academy, to the Yellow Building, to the offices of C House. These are where my formative years took place, and thousands of other students. Lowell High is the community and educational institution it is because of Lowell's diversity. That diversity is the focal point of Lowell High. Downtown is easily accessible to all students, no matter if they come from the Highlands, or Belvedere, or the Acre, or Centerville, or Pawtucketville. The face of Lowell High knows no geographic location. Moving Lowell High out of downtown puts an unnecessary financial burden on lower income families that depend on that easy accessibility. For the Cawley location, it would cost taxpayers at least $20 million to build. This $20 million could be allocated to building upon the already great and diverse history of Lowell High. To further explain, it could adequately staff Lowell High and pay hardworking teachers more. My father, Michael John Donahue, was a security guard of Lowell High. On February 9th, 2016, he suffered a fatal heart attack alone in the Freshman Academy auditorium. Had there been enough staff to watch the cameras, he may still be here. My point is, $20 million is a significant amount of money that could be allocated to other areas of interest that represent the uniqueness and vibrancy of Lowell High's current location. The proposed Cawley plan does not address field replacement for the girls' athletics, parking garages, or transportation expenses. Furthermore, downtown is a cultural hub that offers students resources to cultivate their passions and dreams. For the aspiring engineer, UML is a walk away. For the aspiring artist, our art galleries and the Merrimack Repertory Theater are another walk away. Although there are a multitude of reasons to keep Lowell High downtown, I feel it necessary to mention one important one. The city and its students. We are not solely students of Lowell High. We are students of Lowell. And being downtown, we are able to foster that connection every time we step out of the doors of Lowell High. To be an LHS student is to be deeply connected to the city of Lowell. That wouldn't remain as vital or as possible if Lowell High was moved. Lowell High opens its doors to all students, no matter their faith, their ethnicity, their race, or creed. Moving Lowell High would send a grave message to the students of Lowell High, a message that says that their culture does not matter. They do not matter. Lowell High is what it is. All that makes Lowell High what it is would not be valued if we moved to the Cawley location. All are welcome at Lowell High, and it should stay that way by keeping Lowell High downtown. We are different and special and unique as a community because of the unique location downtown. We can build upon Lowell High. We can take our history that's already unique and grow upon. And to close, I quote Jack Kerouac, "Great things are not accomplished by those who yield to trends, fads, or popular opinion." Thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you.
Joe Healy.
Good evening. My name is Joe Healy. I reside at 56 Monadnock Ave in the Highlands section of Lowell. I graduated in 2009 and I currently own and operate a strength and conditioning gym, New England Strength and Performance here in the city. At NESP, as we like to call it, we train elementary school, middle school, and current high school athletes who come from different demographics and different neighborhoods in the city. Since the issue of renovation versus relocation of Lowell High has become more and more prominent in discussions, I have made a point to ask opinions of those athletes and their parents of what option they would prefer, renovating the current downtown location or building a new state-of-the-art facility at Colley Stadium. Most, if not all, have told me they prefer a new high school at Colley. Furthermore, I've been told if the renovation of the current school takes place, many would no longer attend Lowell High School, and many parents of future high schoolers would decide to send their children elsewhere. This would result in our city and its school system losing some of our best and brightest scholar athletes. Youth and high school athletics are a cornerstone in our great city. They pave the way to success for many of our youth, and Lowell has produced some exceptional student athletes. Too often our high school has lost out on getting these athletes to attend in favor of schools such as Central Catholic and local preparatory schools. When these success stories choose to attend other schools, we lose the positive influence they have on the other students around them. And a precedent is set that leads to others following in their footsteps and leaving as well. If Lowell did build a state-of-the-art high school in the direct vicinity of the athletic complexes, it would, without a doubt, lead to an increase in participation in athletics, since the facilities encourage participation and pride. This became very evident to me the other day. I asked the parent of a student athlete who I have trained for years, who previously attended Lowell High School but left on his own accord to attend a prep school, if she thought his decision would have been different if LHS had provided the facilities and resources of a state-of-the-art high school at Colley Stadium. Without hesitation, she responded simply yes. Athletics aside, a new high school at Colley would provide more of a conducive academic atmosphere. Downtown provides many distractions for our students. I know firsthand. From skipping class to get boot mills at Arthur's, to going to the River Rock, along with countless other alternatives to going to class, it makes it very easy for our students to get distracted. The new high school would feel more like a campus with fewer outside amusements, and would give LHS more of a distinct identity as a learning institution. One argument, which I've heard a lot tonight, in opposition to Colley relocation is the economic impact on downtown. As a business owner and a former LHS student, I believe it will have a favorable effect on downtown by removing the high school demographic that has caused issues, loitering, excessive jaywalking, which I'm sure we all find pretty annoying, and opens opportunities for businesses that would not consider downtown as an option because of these issues and the issue of traffic congestion at key times during business operations. What kind of businesses would we rather see downtown Lowell? Those that cater to high schoolers or business professionals? There's much history to having the high school downtown. However, this decision should not be based on history, but rather future. The youth of this city are our future. The more they succeed, the more our city succeeds. I implore those who will have the final say in this monumental decision that will affect tens of thousands of Lowell citizens for years to come to decide based on what is best for the youth of Lowell and not historical or economic factors. Just to wrap it up, I attended 4 different high schools. I attended Lowell High School, Central Catholic, Carlsbad High School in California, and then finally a prep school. For the vast majority, I was at Lowell High. Anytime anybody ever asked me where I went to high school, I would never mention the other 3 because of the people that went to Lowell High School, not it being downtown. It's the people that go to Lowell High School that make it great. If you move it, you're going to lose a lot of those people. I keep hearing that diversity is going to, it's all about diversity. It is all about diversity. It's what makes Lowell great. Being downtown is not what makes it diverse. It is the people that go there. That's all I have to say.
Christine Hungate.
Good Good evening, everybody. I'm Christine Hungate. I live at 11 Westview Road in the Highlands, and I am a Lowell High graduate. I had the benefit of attending Boston University and working in Boston over a period of 10 years. I chose to return to Lowell to raise my family here. I currently have 2 daughters at Lowell High, neither of which will see the benefit of the new school, but one of them will still be at the high school during the renovation. As I contemplate the many great ideas for an updated high school, I keep coming back to this. Our primary educational responsibility to the children of our city should be to provide the most opportunities possible to the most students possible. Moving the school to Collie location would reduce many students' access to the school itself, as well as to the many other downtown community opportunities they currently have. That would be a step down, not a step up. The current location was not chosen by accident, and it is still relevant. I am for keeping downtown option 3 on the table to improve the school facility at its current location. Thank you.
Rebecca Stasovich.
Hello, Mayor, councilors, city manager. You've heard all the arguments that I might make, so I'll spare you getting into everything. I advocate keeping high school downtown, and I will tell you why that's important to me. I will say that of all the arguments for either location, it's the access, I think, that is most important for all the students across the city. I'm a Lowell High grad of 1990. My father and my grandfather are Lowell High grads. I have 2 young children in the school system. And to set arguments aside, I will say I am not opposed to having a school in my neighborhood. I think schools are a great thing to have in neighborhoods. And I would like to think if that were the best choice for the city to have the school in Belvedere, I would support that despite traffic in my neighborhood or whatever, but I support downtown options. Even though there's a chance that my children might be in modulars, and modulars are also, it's very unclear if that's gonna be on the table or not as well, but that is also something I would hope I would overlook if it were the best choice for everybody. It was important to me to attend Lowell High School, where I could feel the presence of my grandfather there, whom I never knew, telling me to pay attention in Latin class with Mr. Bailey. And it meant something to me when I graduated Lowell High School, and I couldn't wait to get a job and make a difference. And a meaningful portion of my professional career was spent downtown, and another portion of my professional career was spent getting to know high schools of all different kinds. And I always felt badly for the students in the high schools of this suburban setting. I felt that they missed out on something that I experienced that was meaningful to me in my high school experience, to go to school here in a building a little like this. It wouldn't surprise me if you feel like this when you're doing business in a building like this as counselors and officials. It's meaningful to me to feel the history of our city. But the thing that is different to me now, when I graduated in 1990, I couldn't wait to get out of here. My 4 years of Lowell High School seemed very long. And I couldn't wait to graduate and get out and make a difference. And now I'm back raising my children here, and I'm happy to be back. And I'm feeling new energy. I see all of the focus on innovation here, and we're becoming the city that we have always wanted to be, and that is not an accident. That was years of people walking this fine line of balancing preservation and innovation. And this is not, keeping the high school, to me, keeping the high school downtown is not about preservation at all costs. It's about looking at the best options for the future and preserving our history in a very important way, and that's how we got to where we are. And I feel that our unique talent for combining these things that makes Lowell what it is, the best application of this talent is considering the high school project. And I feel that Lowell High is best downtown so that we do not ignore our history and we do not ignore the educational opportunities. And looking forward, we can combine all these things. We've done it before, and I think we can do it again. Thank you.
Russ Williams. Russ Williams.
Good evening. My name is Russ Williams. 1989, I graduated Lowell High School. I lived on Princeton Boulevard. I graduated UMass Lowell. In 94, I lived on Middlesex Street. Today, my residency is 107 Clark Road, where I live with my wife and my 4 children. And my home is the city of Lowell. It's pretty simple. And the reason I actually came here tonight is to talk about a couple issues that I think we need to address. We need to actually say out loud once in a while. Last night I went to a special media meeting last night where Councilor Rita Mercier talked about transparency. I think you can sit here and see the passion today versus years in the past, because today people are educated. Today you can jump online, today you can read. There's people that are invested in the city. I think the city council, the state the state delegates, the leadership at Lowell, they need to be transparent. You know, everyone's coming up here and they're talking about different facts and reasons, and I respect that. You know, I actually was asked by people that were in favor of College Stadium right from the beginning if I would get involved, and I said no. It's a very simple thing. Lowell's not an easy place. It's diverse. You know, when we make a decision like this, it's going to impact families and homes and people that get by day to day and they can't afford a lot of things. And to have their taxes go up is going to be a difference of, you know, putting food on the table or paying their rent or whatever the case may be. So all of us need to take that serious. You know, the backdoor politics that are going on with, you know, what Article 97, we need modulars, we don't need modulars. You know, whatever the case may be, it just needs to go away. What we need to do is kind of hold hands as a community, talk about the issues, put the facts, and let the people of Lowell, not the people here, but the people of Lowell, make an educated decision. I'm not here to say my opinions are right or wrong. I can only make, you know, my opinion on what I know. And what I don't know is the cost. What I do know as a previous corporate vice president of a large company is that when you go into rehabbing things, there's things called change orders, and there's delays, and there's cost, and there's time. And I have 3 children that are going to go to Lowell High. Actually, I have a son who is in 8th grade, who's looking forward to his Lowell High experience. And I can tell you he's not happy about hearing that he's going to go to school in a modular building, and his experience is going to be different than mine. And that bothers me a lot. You know, there's a lot of great people that fall into my age group that are very, very vocal, very involved, and there's a lot. You go on social media, you go on Facebook, you walk into meetings and you hear all the different reasons for, you know, what people want to do and for, you know, where, if it's downtown versus College Stadium, and that's fine, but I think the problem is really the lack of communication and facts. And again, you know, I'm going to say Rita last night had a very valid point. We need to be transparent. This isn't small. This decision isn't about today, my kids. It's about our kids' kids. It's 100 years. And I know I'm preaching, I'm trying not to, but everyone needs to actually think about that. You know, when I hear about tradition at Lowell High and, you know, the involvement of downtown and all the things that go with it, I can tell you this, I never lived downtown. But when we moved here, because my father was in the service, and we lived in that corner apartment, 2 bedrooms, and, you know, we all stuffed, and I lived on the couch through high school, I had a lot of pride in Lowell. And it wasn't because I lived downtown in the urban setting, it was because I had pride in Lowell. My kids today live in Belvedere, and I can tell you they have pride in Lowell. It's the urban Lowell, it's not the suburbs, it's Lowell. So pride starts in all the elementaries. We have new schools all over the city, and it doesn't start when you hit Lowell High. And all due respect to the leadership at Lowell, if and when we get into, or if the decision was made to go into downtown, and, you know, I do believe that Lowell has strong leadership, and, you know, I think the school spirit, in all fairness, sir, is very good. I just don't want, you know, the person who's taking care of Lowell High School to have to worry about change orders, percentages. I want the eye on the ball in the education. I want my kids' kids. I want the kids to stay in Lowell, or the kids in elementary, when they grow up and they become successful, like I was fortunate and a lot of my friends were, to say, hey, I can live anywhere in the state of Mass, I can live anywhere I want, but I would choose to live in Lowell. And I think you can see it. I can speak for so many kids that, were extended family. I mean, we talk about all the different places, but what you need to understand is this. Today's different. Where are you going to put all these materials in downtown? There's so many questions that you can't even answer, and it's hard to argue all these things. All I know is this. If we have leadership, we have transparency, we can all make a better decision. It's very simple. It's not hard. I also realize and respect the fact that myself and other people may be in a better decision to afford those tax increases where other families can't. I have a hard time believing that a parent today, and I can speak from experience because I went to the Moody. I actually graduated the Moody Junior High as well. I lived on Lowell Road, and I used to have to walk to school, 7th and 8th grade. And I can assure you that my parents, when I was walking across Andover Street, and it was snowing and raining, they didn't feel great about it. And I do respect the fact that there are certain issues, and there's people that walk downtown, but I find it hard to believe as a parent of 4 that I would feel better that my kids were walking down during a rainstorm or snowstorm downtown traffic rather than being put on a bus and be driven out to a safe place as College Stadium. So as of today, my support is with College Stadium. I would also say about tradition is this. Tradition isn't the brick and mortar, it's the people that are in those buildings. It's the leadership, like Mr. Martin, it's the leadership of all the teachers and all the staff, but it's not that building. Leadership, tradition, it can all shift with College Stadium. I'm just gonna say this in closing. I am passionate about this. My best friend died. His name was Tommy Machado. And I can say this to you. There's a practice field out there named after him. And I named my first son, middle name Thomas, after Tommy. We go by often, he's like, look, Dad, there's a guy who was named after. Why don't you tell me about him? But I can tell you this, if Tommy Machado was alive, he'd walk over, he'd pick up that stone that has his name on that practice field, and he would throw that thing right out on the friggin' road. And he'd want those kids to go out to College Stadium, just like I do and a lot of people, because it's the right decision. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Terry Dillingham. Terry Dillingham. Susan Zachara. Oh, all right.
Hi, my name is Terry Dillingham. I live at 208 Fairmount Street, and again, thank you for the opportunity to speak. I am speaking in support of Colley. I'll try to be brief. I know it's been long. It's really hot in here. The first thing I'd like to do is I'd like to correct what I believe are several misrepresentations regarding the eminent domain option. Besides the total inconsistency with wanting to maintain and develop the economic health of the city with taking a profitable business by eminent domain, the process of eminent domain is actually quite complex and will take years of expensive litigation to resolve. Despite what has been represented in many public meetings, both the actual taking and the amount paid for the property can be legally challenged, and I think we can expect those challenges to be made in this case. This option will add years and enormous expense to option 3, which can't even be estimated at this point. Second, my job as in-house counsel for a diverse international firm is to manage and mitigate risk. And I see this as very similar to the obligations of the city's administration. And I agree with what's been suggested here, that it's the council's obligation to do what's best for the city. So if I were asked to evaluate the downtown location versus the Colley location, what I would see is the downtown option proposes to put construction workers and approximately 4,000 additional people, mostly teenagers, into an active construction zone for 4 to 5 years, versus the Colley option, which would put maybe a similar number of construction workers, not the 4,000 additional people, in a construction zone for 3 years. If I recommended the downtown option, I would be fired on the spot. The risk of the downtown location cannot be controlled. There are too many variables, which means it cannot be managed. Putting 4,000 people plus into an active construction zone for 5 years and hoping nothing happens is playing Russian roulette with the financial viability of the city. And I find it especially egregious when there's an option that does not put that type of burden on the city. And for these reasons, I support the Colley option, and I thank you for your time.
Susan Zachara.
Good evening. My name is Sue Zachara. I reside at 28 Beresford Avenue. I am a lifelong resident of Lowell, and I am the mother of 3 children who attended Lowell High School. I have worked in the downtown area for several years and was a member of the Downtown Lowell Business Association. I am also a corporator for the Boys and Girls Club and on the board of the Greater Lowell YMCA, both of which are organizations that serve the current Lowell High School students. I think that Lowell High's current location in the city is a huge asset to the students, the downtown community, and the people of Lowell. My kids enjoyed the benefit of being able to experience many of downtown's unique cultural attractions thanks to Lowell High School. They got after-school jobs with local small businesses. They were able to utilize the amazing resources next door at the Pollard Memorial Library. They had come to meet up with their friends from neighborhoods all over the city in this central location and discover on their own what the city of Lowell has to offer. Downtown Lowell is such a beautiful cross-section of art, music, food, culture, and viewpoints from all over the world. It would be a shame for future students not to experience that on a daily basis. As a mother, I have always encouraged my children to take advantage of this city, their hometown, and know what it has to offer them. Most importantly, to be proud and to embrace the unique advantages an urban high school has to offer. Why would we want to change that and make this a cookie cutter duplication of all the other schools in the surrounding suburbs? Please take that into consideration, and I encourage you to keep Lowell High in downtown.
James Dolan.
Name again, Mr. Clerk?
Bridget Seen.
So just a quick little background here. At 5:30 this evening, as I was preparing what I was going to say tonight, my 3-year-old fell,
Name and
hit
address.
his head.
Name and address.
My name's Bridget Steen. I'm 30 Elliott Drive in Lowell. My 3-year-old fell, hit his head. We were at Lowell General getting a couple of staples, and then I headed here once my husband was able to pick him up and take him home, and all is well. So I apologize if my thoughts are a little bit scattered, but I wanted to get here tonight to express my thoughts. I'm a lifelong Lowell resident. I grew up in a family of 5 children in the Highlands. My husband and I are now living in Belvedere, raising our 3 children. I'm here tonight to voice my support for Colley Stadium. As a mother, obviously my first and foremost concern is my 3 children. I would first like to talk about some of the health and safety concerns. I have concerns that renovating a 100-year-old building, while any child is in attendance there, poses a serious safety concern. This is a real concern, and it is not fear-mongering as it has been suggested. The documents discussing the renovation states minimizing risk. Minimizing risk when we are talking about removing asbestos and mold, to name a few, is not the safety barometer that we should be shooting for when our children are involved. One accidental exposure to a student or a teacher is one too many, and that can't be undone. Monitoring the air qualities will make us realize that the air quality is off too late. That is past the time when we need to fix it. Someone has already been exposed. I know that this is something that this council will take seriously. Building at Colley is the only way the city can provide a state-of-the-art education with relatively seamless construction while addressing health and safety. I know health and safety has been an enormous consideration. I know it's been talked about a lot. I'd like to also talk about other concerns that maybe have gotten less attention. As I mentioned, I've lived in Lowell my whole life, except for a brief stint where my husband and I rented in Reading. In 2002, I convinced my husband to move back here, and we bought a 2-family house in the Highlands. My husband is a transplant to Lowell, and he has heard many times over the years that there's a lot to love about Lowell, and he too has come to believe that. In 2004, we kept our two-family and we moved to the Belvedere section to raise our children. We strongly defend Lowell proudly to many co-workers and friends. The commitment of Lowell's residents to the city to continue to thrive is not something that you find in many other cities. Another thing we love about Lowell is its diversity. As previously mentioned, I believe by you, Mr. Martin, at the Belvedere Neighborhood Association, we are a city where a kid who can't literally afford track shoes is sitting in the cafeteria next to a kid who's going to Vesper for dinner that night. And that really stuck with me that night. That is the meaning of diversity. Each child in that situation gains so much by interacting with each other in the halls of the high school. It teaches us about culture, about aspiration, it teaches us about empathy. Diversity is the reason why many of us stay in the city. This diversity makes us different than many of the surrounding towns and cities. You see, if I don't feel safe sending my children to Lowell High, I'm going to be disappointed, but I'm just not going to send them if I don't feel like it's a safe option. They're going to miss out on the education and the experience that I believe only a public school can provide. They won't build the inherent love for this city that so many of us have. In recent weeks, to be honest, my husband has been showing me houses in some of the surrounding towns. He is a transplant, as I mentioned. The justifications for paying higher taxes in another town would be less than paying for private schools for 4 years for 3 children. I've heard it said that people for Cawley want it so that our children aren't affected by the renovation. As a mother, it's becoming surprising to me to realize that this is about more than my kids. I'll make sure my own kids are safe, and I'll make sure that I do what's right for them. This is about all the children of Lowell. This is about Lowell as a city. We risk losing families who are strongly invested in this city during a major renovation such as this. That doesn't just impact the 6 to 8 years, because let's be honest, a renovation is definitely taking more than 4 years. This impacts the future direction of this city. So as a mother of 3, am I standing here for my children? Yes, of course I am. But I am standing here for more than them. I am standing here for my neighborhood. I'm standing here for all of the city's children, and I'm standing here for the future direction of this city as a whole. Cawley is the only viable option that has been put forth that meets and exceeds all educational objectives and will advance our city and our children for generations to come. I am asking you to approve Cawley Stadium as the new high school site.
Debbie Calery.
Thank you for giving us all the opportunity to speak. I have a few words because everybody already said what I wanted to say. My name is Debbie Calery, and I live at 59 Windsor Park Road in the Belvedere section of Lowell, and I am a proponent of the Lowell High School remaining downtown. The downtown location offers equitable access to a quality education to all the children of this city, whether they walk, ride a bike, are driven, or take a bus. All roads lead to downtown. It is the hub, it is the heart of our city. My son is a 2015 graduate of Lowell High School. I believe at the time, if the high school had been located in Belvedere, that my son really would not have ventured out of that section of the city on his own. He would have attended the Riley, the Sullivan, and then the high school at Cawley. And I think that would have really been a great loss for him. He would have never realized all that this city had to offer, and the fact that he actually lives in the 4th largest city in the state of Massachusetts. The opportunity to become independent, walking downtown with your friends, meeting at Subway after school, little things like going to the coffee mill, boarding house park, and that feeling of independence, using public transportation. All that is an education in itself, part of the whole experience of living in an urban environment. And I'm really glad he had that opportunity. I want that same opportunity for all our children. That being said, I respectfully ask you to keep all 4 options in play. Thank you.
Thank you.
Onates Omeni.
Good evening.
I do better than he did, don't I?
You did. nearly perfect last time. My name is Anase Omayeni. I live at 20 Dundee Street in Christian Hill. I'm currently a senior at Lowell High School, and I just wanted to thank Mayor Kennedy, City Manager Murphy, and the City Councilors for allowing the public to speak tonight. I think this is a wonderful display of a lot of people getting involved in the democratic process, which is always fantastic. And as a student at Lowell High School, every day I am awarded the privilege of attending an exceptionally diverse school, with my peers hailing from more than 62 countries and speaking more than 51 languages. And they also come from every neighborhood in Lowell. And in my 4 years as a student, I have seen the school do, and the city as well, do a tremendous amount of work to ensure that every child in Lowell has equal access to a fantastic and world-class education. And we have not always been perfect, but we have always been consistent in our mission and our dedication to doing the most good for Lowell students. In moving the high school, we are jeopardizing all of the fantastic work we've done. All of the wonderful, wonderful, slight, though at times, smaller increases and changes in absentee rates, and all due to the tremendous amount of programs students have access to because they are in downtown Lowell. As has been emphasized so many times tonight by so many different speakers, the high school being downtown not only awards students the fantastic and unique opportunity to take classes at UMass Lowell and Middlesex Community College and be exposed to college-level work and that they may otherwise not have known about or not considered for themselves. It also awards them the opportunity to get involved and discover what they hope to do and how they hope to change the world. Whether they hope to be involved in government, they have the opportunity to intern with the City of Lowell. They have the opportunity to intern with Congresswoman Tsongas. They have the opportunity to intern with Judge Blitzman at the juvenile court. They also have the opportunity to get involved with enterprise and so on and so on and so forth. Students at Lowell High also, in the school being downtown, also have access to opportunities that are like that, which are fun and help them develop, help them figure out what they hope to do with their lives, but also extracurriculars and things that are necessities, things like the International Institute, like the Boys and Girls Club, like Girls Inc., and CTI and so on and so forth, that help families who don't necessarily have the resources they need to help their kids succeed, but look toward public servants and other elected officials to guide them to those resources. It enables them and empowers them to get involved and participate and be active in their students' lives, and empower those students to be engaged in the community and return again and again and again. Furthermore, I know that 1/3 of the population walks. I know we've just done another study, which I'm going to predict probably the number has increased. I think the bottom line about the high school being located in downtown is that it's equitable. All students, Mr. Martin has often said to me that if you look at Lowell High in the morning and you were in a helicopter, you would see students coming from all different directions everywhere. We would be flooding the city, and as you said so eloquently earlier, if you so have the opportunity to get up and watch the students wake up the city of Lowell with our hopes, our dreams, and ambitions. And so I would just like to once again reaffirm my support for the high school staying in the downtown location, and I would hope that all members of the City Council would vote in favor of continuing and going forward with all 4 locations that have been approved so far, and doing so in a way that they are unranked. Thank you very much for your time.
Sean Moriarty. Sean Moriarty. Francisco Melendez.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, City Manager. Good evening, City Council. My name is Francisco Melendez. And on behalf of myself, and my family, I am here to support Carly's site. I was born in Lowell, lived in the Acre, moved to the Highlands when I was in the 7th grade. I was one of those kids who was poor. I was one of those kids who did walk to school. My parents worked jobs that would offer them employment, considering English was their second language. I attended and graduated Lowell High School in 1990. I never felt that having Lowell High School in downtown location offered me more because it was in downtown. I am speaking tonight because I am applaud at the speculation that if we move the high school 2 or 3 miles down the road, that lower income children will be affected. Those who are concerned about these kids, if you have gone to their neighborhoods and asked them what they thought, have you? I have had the honor to coach Lowell girls travel, girls basketball for 20 years. It always bothers me that our surrounding towns would judge my players because it said Lowell on their shirt. I always told my players that nothing defines them but them. My daughter is a senior this year at Lowell High School, and she will be graduating. Her twin sister goes to Greater Lowell Vocational Tech. And all my years in this city, I was embarrassed for Lowell. When games would be canceled because the roof would be leaking once and again, or they would be late for a game because the bus wasn't there on time. Wouldn't it give them an amazing feeling to be on a school where a campus shows them that they are worthy of this? What they are just as good as the surrounding communities? Or do we, as adults, not push our future to want more, want better? That we had or have? At this time, I just want to look at my son, because that's what I'm here for. Frankie, get up. My 11-year-old son, who will be attending Lowell High School, where it's going to be. I'm here to show support for Colley Stadium and to show a voice for my son and to show him how government is run. Thank you.
Saray Pav Varay. Saray Pav Varay.
Hi, I'm a little short, sorry. My name is Saipo Vari. I am currently residing at 28 Rue Street on the Highlands. I'm here on behalf of the community who has some children in the Lowell High School and also in the elementary school and stuff like that. But anyway, I wanted to see if we can have language access, because I know the parents would like to come here and talk to you guys and share their thoughts. There were so many amazing people here today to share what they were thinking about the high school should be located at. Some wanted to be at downtown, some at the Colleys, which are really great. And I would like this same opportunity for our people as well to share with you what they think, because most of them are working 2 jobs, trying to make ends meet. And then just to hear that tax might be raised, and they might have to think about either food or car insurance or go to high school. So I would encourage you to give opportunity to our people to have language access so they can give their input.
Tom King.
Good evening, City Manager, Mr. Mayor, City Councilors. It's been a long evening, so I'll make this quick since a lot of people have hit my points. As I said, my name is Tom King. I live at 96 Glenwood Street in Lowell, Mass. My wife and I, my wife's a graduate of Lowell High, by the way. We have 4 boys, 3 13-year-olds in the 7th grade and 1 9-year-old in the 3rd grade. The oldest, I support the Colley site. The Colley site probably won't benefit my oldest boys, just simply because of the timeline. But thinking for the greater good of Lowell, I think it'll benefit Lowell in the long run for future generations to come. I'm actively involved in the city. I coach lacrosse teams, baseball teams, basketball teams, and we have kids from all over the city at our house, and it's a great group of kids. So I think I'm here for not only my children, but all these other children who don't have a voice tonight. I was fortunate enough to attend a couple of the meetings that we've had during the day and at night, and I've heard the consultants speak, and what stuck with me was that the location that hits all of our educational objectives for this project is the Colley site. So if we're going to spend $300 million plus, it's critical that we have all our educational needs met. So with that being said, I would like to support the Colley site. I also have some concerns that people have spoke about during the evening. During construction, the safety for the children, 3,000 kids living in a construction zone, there's some safety concerns there for the children. There's also health concerns. We're talking 4, 6, 7 years, however long the renovation takes. Health concerns, we hear about asbestos, runs a chill down anyone's spine who have children, or even the teachers and the staff exposed in there, because everyone's exposed. I did not attend Lowell High, but I've talked to a lot of friends who have, and are teachers there, and parents who have children there now, and they can't say enough great things about the school, the teachers, the staff, the education that they're getting. But it's just the construction site that they would be living through, and all those variables that we can't control when we can start from a clean slate out in Colley Stadium. It just makes it seem, even though my children won't benefit from it, it seems like for the greater good of the city, that would be the best place for, in my opinion, the new high school going forward. So thank you. I know it's been a long night. Good night.
Daniel Finn. Daniel Finn.
Sorry, good evening. I know it's been a long night. Mine is brief. Mr. Mayor, councilors, my name is Dan Finn. I reside at 41 Elliott Drive. I'm a resident of the city of 45 years, class of 1990. I grew up in Centerville, the neighborhood, one of 12 children to Mickey and Ann Finn, all of which attended Lowell High School. 7 of whom are still residents in the city, 6 of whom have chosen a career in public service. I'm here tonight not to talk about the modular classrooms, the traffic, the water concerns. Article 97, that has all been spoken to. I am here to go on public record. I am asking the city officials to please get back on track and to put your personal agendas aside and do what is right for our children. And that is to give them a school that has everything that they deserve. I have 4 children, 2 who will be directly affected by this decision. Children that will have to experience a non-conducive learning atmosphere if the wrong choice is made. Therefore, I must state that I believe the best opportunity for my children and every other child in the city is to build a new Lowell High School at Colley Stadium. I would like to conclude by saying that I am now a Belvedere resident, and I do favor Lowell High in my neighborhood. Thank you.
Last speaker, Armin Hebert.
Armin Hebert, 499 Wilder Street.
Here to speak tonight. Great presentations by both sides on Cawley and downtown. But now I'd like to congratulate you both because you both won. Both options are going forward. All right, we're here to talk about the 4 options that have been brought to the council. My opinion, the building committee failed to do their job right. Okay, they brought 3 options in the downtown district that all are basically the same. All means remodeling that classic. It's a nice building, do something else with it. To remodel that building is nothing but a waste of money, because if you read every report, at first it started out little educational value, little. Now it's some educational value. Now I'd like to just question everybody in here about some. You go into work tomorrow, tell your employer, you just need some of your money. You don't need to be paid all of your money, which is what you're doing to these kids by not providing them the most educational value, okay? No applause, no applause. I gotta get this done. He's got me on the clock all the time, okay? And he holds me to 5, okay? I spoke at the very first meeting for this when Mr. Samaras brought this motion before, and he said, this will define this city council. Mr. Leary wasn't on it. All the 8 others were here, city manager, everybody else was here. Okay? You weren't there, no. Okay? I've been here every time. You haven't been here every time. Okay? But no, let's get back to this. All right, we've got an option, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Manager, that at your statement at the building committee meeting, you said at any time, and you don't have to answer me, I know you don't have to, that any time the city council has the right to discard one option or put in a new one. All right? We've got 2 options to build new schools downtown. This is going to be a construction downtown, is going to be a hazard for everybody. It's going to be a nightmare for everybody. But if you get a new school at least out of that they can build with most educational value. Not all, but most educational value, which is the reason why they're saying most and not all is because it doesn't allow green space. But for green space, do you think it's really viable to not build a new school down there, to renovate, rehab, whatever you want to call it, that 1922 building where you will not be able to do nothing in the future with? Okay, this is what we're here about tonight. You people made great presentation, but your 2 options are moving forward. I would like the council, someone in here, to question why one of those new options weren't. I don't believe in eminent domain. I agree there. You know what? That's not my problem. I don't agree with eminent domain. Now, if you do build a new school, you got to knock down that field house, okay? You want to do something eminent domain? Take the Sanger Center off Lowell and use that as your gym. You want to take something from somebody, take it off them. They've taken enough off this city, okay? Take that, use that for your gymnasium, and I'm sure there's classroom area in there. So that will knock down the modular classrooms. And for one thing, the studies have come back all different. I work construction. You know what? You want to do something for me? Rehab that building. That's 6 years' work. I'm over to Berka High right now. By the time that's done, I'll be able to come right over here and get another 6 years and I can retire. All right? Let me tell you people, that building is going to be a nightmare. Cost overruns. Construction people love rehabs. All right? I understand people don't like my hat up from the city. I got a call from my VA this morning. I don't answer to my VA. All right, I'm going to wear my hat because I'm a proud union member, and this isn't about the union. This is about the children in the city of Lowell. We have got to change one of those options. The 3 are the same. They're just the same. You're still rehabbing that piece of junk over there, turn it into the school department. All right? Then that means you don't have to take down walls. You don't have to deal with the asbestos. That building is fine the way it is if you don't do no construction to it. There'll be no health hazards as at this point. You start knocking down walls, then you're into another can of worms, all right? But I think this council tonight should move four forward for we can get this ball rolling and keep this going, because I tell you, I think when you get to the state and you show them 3 options that are basically the same, they're gonna laugh at you and say, yeah, we ain't giving you $160 million, okay? So this is a $350 million project. I think the building commission dropped the ball, all right? And for anybody on that building commission to say that they would not support anything out of Lowell High is another thing. They should have walked away from that right off the bat because they didn't go into it with an open mind. Okay? And that's the way I look at it. I'm just a resident here. I sent 4 daughters to Lowell High. And you know what? One of my daughters was at that school when they did the renovation in 2000. And this city better hope nothing ever becomes of that, because you people will be looking at a lot of class action soon. All right? Thank you tonight. Have a good night, guys.
That concludes the registered speakers. The motion, I'll read once again, is a motion by Council Elliott, seconded by Council Leahy, and this will also serve as a second reading, authorizing the City Council to approve the 4 unranked options recommended by the School Building Committee and authorize Skankter USA Building Incorporated, the owner's project manager, to submit the preliminary design program submission materials to the Massachusetts School Building Authority on behalf of the City of Lowell and the Lowell School District. Any discussion on the motion? Councilor Elliott.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thanks to all the speakers, not only this week but in the past weeks, and perhaps in the upcoming weeks, where this is the first leg, if you will, in this process in sending down these 4 options. I think we should be sending these 4 down, regardless of some of the obstacles that have been presented in the last couple of days. But as we move forward, Mr. Manager, I think a couple of speakers, including Council Mercier last night, made something abundantly clear, that we need to keep things transparent. And I just want to bring up one issue that's very troubling that has come to me in the last couple of days. And I actually met with the woman this morning. The Portuguese community, I've received a few calls in the last few days, has received information from a business leader who spoke to a local elected official, and indicating that if Colley Stadium moves if the new high school moves to Colley Stadium, they are going to lose their property. And I think this is at all levels wrong. I don't know who this individual is. I did take time out of my schedule today to meet with the president of the Holy Ghost Society, who is in fear. They are scared. They are concerned about this. And quite frankly, I think this this tactic, this scare tactic, it has no place in this city and in this discussion. I'll give you the name, Mr. Manager, because I took some time out of my schedule to meet with her today. So, moving forward, I reassured her, this Holy Ghost Society has been in existence in this city since 1923 on that site. They have done incredible charitable work for this city, and that community should not be upset. They should not have to be living in fear that they're going to lose this site. And I personally believe it's a scare tactic for the community to say, we don't want it there. So I reassured them today after I looked at every document that I had, and I spoke to Mr. McGovern to reassure them there is no plan to take 1 inch of that property. So moving forward, and I'd like you to reach out to them to let them know that they want to be a partner. They're enthusiastic. They do incredible work in this city. So I'm disappointed. I feel bad. I do feel bad, but I reassured them that they're not going to lose their property. They're going to stay in existence, and they're going to be a good partner. I'm going to support this, but I hope this doesn't happen and nothing else like this occurs in this city. That's what we're not about. We'll have a discussion about it. We may not agree, but for anyone to resort to these tactics at this point is wrong. So let's keep moving forward, and let's not this happen again. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councilor Samaras?
Thank you, Mayor Kennedy. First of all, I want to thank everybody that came here tonight I think as a city council, we're very proud to be part of this city. The way that everybody came and how prepared you were to talk about your different points and your differences with your different points, it showed that there's been a lot of thinking going on as to what's best for our children. And when you talk about the role of the city council, our role is to listen as well as we can to ensure that we get the right type of information. One of the things that was stated tonight by several people were the need to ensure that we get into the various minority communities to assure them that we give them the opportunity to understand what's going on. I think Mayor Kennedy and myself have a motion on next week to ensure that the minority communities, or all minority communities, are included in the information packet. And we'll present that before the city council. But I know, having spoken to every city councilor, regarding this issue, that's something we all want to do to ensure that every member of the community, the greater Lowell community, gets to understand what is going on in the downtown. So we have a motion to speak to that, and I think it's important for people to know that the city council is ready to assure everybody that we will make sure that we'll get the right information to them so they can all be part of the decision-making process. Thank you.
Thank you. Council Mercia.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I am so very, very proud of everybody that came here out of the comfort of their home to come here out of their way to express your opinion, whether you're for Collie, whether you're for downtown. And the thing that impressed me the most is you were very, very respectful of each other. That says a lot about all the people in this room. Unlike some time ago where they were hooting and howling, and you were very, very respectful. And I hope that when the final decision comes, no matter where that is, we should rally together as one, because that's what it's all about. What you displayed here this evening is democracy at its best. I am so proud to see that. We can disagree without being disagreeable. That is the whole effort of this. Transparency is the best. I just want to say that the goal here tonight, the duty of this council, is to present 4 options to the MSBA. And actually, in my opinion, we're kind of presenting 4, but actually, in my view, we're presenting 3, because the 4th one is, to me, in a state of limbo. We're presenting it with obstacles. My duty as a city councilor is to fight. And I don't know if it's the downtown or Collie, I'd be fighting for each side that was not represented fairly. There's 3 options downtown, seems legitimate, but the one at Collie is out in space somewhere, and we gotta correct it and make it whole. We have to present 4 options finally as a whole, and that's why I'm being so adamant in my beliefs, because we have to turn that around so that everybody is represented. Then when the final analysis comes, I'm sure that every city councilor sitting here is gonna make a determination to the best of their ability. I don't think they'd do less. They would never, ever do less. I may disagree with Councilor Milanazzo, but when he makes a decision, it'll be what he believes when he weighs all the options, just like Councilor Corey Belanger and the rest of us. We're trying to do the best that we can. We're listening, we're hearing. I heard great points from both sides, tremendous points from both sides. I have to weigh that, and that'll be my final decision. But before we get there, we have to make Collie Stadium whole. There's a glitch in it. There's a bump in the road, and that is Article 97. I want it to be whole, and I'll fight till I see that happen. So thank you very much for being here. I'm very, very proud of all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Council. Council Milanazzo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I, too, want to thank everyone for being here this evening. My 12 years on the council, I couldn't be more proud listening to what the residents of the city had to say about their new high school. What I'd like to suggest, and I think that when we present the four options, and I'm going to support the motion, I think that MSBA will be impressed with the process that we've gone through. So I would like to suggest to the administration that they actually get a recording of this meeting this evening from LTC and actually include this presentation in the packet that goes into the MSBA, because you could not be impressed with what people had to say on both sides of the issue. So I think that's important to do. And again, I'm prepared to move this forward and support the four options that are before us this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Council. Council Leahy, then Council Leary.
Thank you. I just want to thank everybody for coming down, as we all said, and it was quite impressive tonight. And I just want to say, one of the speakers, I thought, well, everybody had great points, but I agree that, you know, these are the options we're going to put forward. And I don't think the Article 97, I think we're going to get through that. I'm not worried about that. But I do agree that, you know, now we're going to present these. Now we're going to get the final numbers. And we're going to really dig into each plan and see which plan is going to work out best for the city, because they both have merit. But right now, we just don't have all the issues, all the facts in front of us. So I'm glad we're finally at this point. We're moving on. Tonight, we're all very impressed with what everybody had to say. But let's move on. Cawley is a great site. Downtown is a great site. Let's weigh the facts, see where we are with the numbers, and then, you know, in the end, let's rally behind one great project for the city. Thank you.
Thank you, Council. Council Leary.
Just quickly, one, I'm very impressed tonight as well, and I want to thank everybody for taking the time to come down and speak. It was very powerful to listen to the opinions on both sides, very, very articulate. And I think Councilman Alzo was correct. If you could send a tape of this that would show, even though many folks are divided in their opinion, the big goal is that we're all really pushing for a new opportunity and a new high school for our students and ultimately for our city. That in itself is saying something. This is something, when we started this on the school committee many years ago, when I was on the school committee, we began the process. I think that one of the first speakers actually quoted from some of the language we did to get into that project. This has been a long, long road, and we're finally getting to the point where we're going to be deciding a location that will be there for everyone in this room will be long gone before we start talking about another one. So I think that the evidence that we need to look at, it has to be objective. I know there'll be a lot of emotions on it, a lot of strong opinions. I have a lot of strong opinions. You know, I'll have a child that will be ultimately going to this high school in the middle of the process, one way or the other. But I'm proud to be sitting here representing folks. I'm proud to listen to the folks with differences of opinion. And I'm proud either location, you know, my son will end up going to the Lowell High School. And I think that's a very, very cool thing and a very, very powerful thing. Thank you.
Thank you. Council Belanger.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do want to thank all the speakers for coming down tonight, and I do want to share Councilor Mercier's comments where I am just awe-inspired at what I saw here tonight. I mean, this is why I worked hard to get elected. Right here, right now. This is what it's all about. This is Lowell. These people are Lowell. The passion that these people brought to the table tonight has just been overwhelming. I'm very humbled by it, and the energy of this just awesome decision that has been bestowed upon the City Council is just an awesome responsibility, and one I'm going to take very, very seriously, and I know my colleagues are too. So collectively, this council I see is committed, it's ready to lead, it's going to be transparent, and yes, more importantly, we're going to gather information, which a lot of which is forthcoming. We're going to continue to listen. We're going to continue to make site visits. And one thing I'm looking forward to, Headmaster Martin, is sitting at the front door a couple mornings and waiting for these kids to come through the door. I do plan on taking you up and you're off the head. That sounds like a lot of fun. So this is going to be just an amazing process. I'm looking so forward to it. And this council, and I know I speak for all of us, we're going to do our due diligence in this process and rally behind one decision. The bottom line, people, we're getting a new high school. So I am prepared to send these 4 selections to the MSBA. In the meantime, if we can all just take a little, this social media battle that's going on, it's sort of become the 2016 election all over again. But let's just take a breath, people. We're getting a new high school. I know your passion. We can feel it. But this council will educate and make the best decision. And thank you for coming tonight. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Council. Any further discussion? Roll call. Roll call.
Counsel Mercia.
Yes.
Counsel Milonazo.
Yes.
Counsel Rourke.
Yes.
Counsel Samaras.
Yes.
Counsel Belanja.
Yes.
Counsel Elliott.
Yes.
Mayor Kennedy.
Yes.
Counsel Leahy.
Yes.
Counsel Leary.
Yes.
That's 9 yeas.
Okay, so we sent all 4 options on, or at least they'll be down there in the morning, right, Mr. Manager? Okay. Returning to the agenda. We have the minutes. Why don't we take a 2-minute recess?
I thought that was the agenda.
Councilor Mercia?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. If I could ask for suspension of the rules to take something out of order, if we could go under communications from the city manager, 4.1 E, motion response for the Smith Baker Center. We have young Chu Choi here this evening. She was very patient to sit in through all of that.
Okay.
And so
I'll second it, Mr.
All right,
Mayor.
If there's no objection, we'll just do it by general consent. Hearing no objection, we'll take that out of order. Go ahead.
Thank you so much for letting me go. It's been a long night, and I'll try to make it very short. So thank you again for giving us an opportunity to give you another update on Smith Baker Center. And as all of you know, that the CBA is a community development corporation, and historically we did a lot of affordable housing and real estate work. But a couple of years ago, we decided to shift a little bit of our focus to really focus on people. How do you provide opportunities for people so that they can be successful and hopefully move out of the type of housing that we're building and become economically self-sufficient? So we've been really looking at how do we do that, and Smith Baker Center came around in RFP, and we thought this would be a great opportunity for us to renovate, so that, which is one of the work that we do as an organization, but also some of the space can be used as a community center that would provide an opportunity for the residents of Lowell. So that's kind of how this conversation came, and as you know, last year you voted to give us right for development. And since then, we have been quietly working on some of the funding sources. So recently, we were awarded $50,000 of matching grant from the Parker Foundation to hire a capital fundraiser. So I have been talking to a lot of different people. I've been getting advice from people like, many of the community leaders like Fred Faust and George Duncan about right person for this job. So we have someone who's very familiar with capital fundraising of Lowell, who actually has a full-time job in Boston, but she's actually willing to work as an advisor and a consultant for us. So we are looking for someone who can work alongside with her to help us with our fundraising. And then we've also had some conversation about potentially sharing a fundraiser with another large project that's happening in Lowell. So those are some of the conversations that's happening. We've also applied to several of the national and state grant opportunities, and we're waiting to hear from them in the next few months. And then the other thing that we're doing is we're formulating the list of potential individual donors, family foundations, and corporations that can help us with that. And the other thing that we're working on is we're in process of forming a small advisory group that can help us with the fundraising process. And the other thing that we're working on is the sustainability. Once we build, what's going to happen to the building? And so we are creating programs and creating partnership that can go into the building once we do that. So currently we have after-school program. We have a successful workforce development training program we just piloted, and we're actually looking to do 3 demonstration cycle of workforce development training programs. It's a 6-week workforce development training program to connect people to actual jobs. And recently we graduated 9 out of 10 people that participated in this pilot program. And we have 5 people that are working, and 4 of the people that graduated, actually, we're hoping to replace them in next month or so. So it's we will have 100% of people that we graduated from this program. So a program like this is what we're looking to actually put in Smith Baker Center once it completes. And then we are also doing some financial education. We're thinking about financial planning for low to moderate income families, because financial education is really key to any family's success. And we also have been doing a lot of foreclosure counseling, so a lot of those financial education programs will be going in there. We have Zumba classes, karate classes, and that's happening right now for a very small group of people because of the space issue that we have at CBA. And so a lot of those programs will be moved in. And some of the other programs that we plan to have, and we're talking to partners, is commercial kitchen for cooking classes, pop-up restaurants, and so it would give some of the business owners or some of the entrepreneurs an opportunity to try out before they actually open up a restaurant. So we also plan to do language classes for English learners, as well as those of us who may want to learn other languages. Spanish and Khmer would be really helpful for a lot of us to at least have some basic of it. So those are some of the things we're thinking about. And then Lowell is such a diverse community, and I think it's really important for all of us to also have cultural exchanges and learn about each other's culture. One of the first things that I learned when I first came to Lowell was I met an older Khmer gentleman, and I extended my hand and I tried to shake his hand, and which he did, but later on, I was told by one of my staff person, you don't do that to Khmer elderly gentlemen. And that's not my culture, so I didn't know that. But just basic things like that, if we can actually learn about each other's culture, I think it'll be a lot easier for all of us to live together better. And food, we have so much great food of all the cultures. So if we can have cooking classes and teach each other how to cook each other's food, and this is really how food really connects people. So that's some of the things that we're hoping to do. And we would have dance classes, and we've been talking to Ankle Dance Troupe about actually housing at the Smith-Baker Center. So they would actually have a home, and we would have dance classes and exercise classes. And I've had conversations with Parker Lecture Series, Lowell Celebrates Kerouac, and there are so many other organizations that needs a home that can be housed there. And all these things, I feel like we're already running out of room to have these programs. But this would be a true community center. So it's not just for low income, or it's not just for multicultural community, but it could be for everyone. So counselors can take language classes or cooking lessons and exercise classes, and it would be a place where we come together and build relationship with each other and provide opportunities for people to become economically self-sufficient, and City of Lowell to really become more inclusive and integrate. So we're really excited about what could happen. So, once you build, what are you doing? That's the plan. And how would we fund that? There's a lot of grant opportunities for that. And then the other piece that we're thinking is, how do we make sure we have an endowment fund that can also sustain itself? So, Jack Kerouac's name has come up for this building. That's not set in stone, but that's something that I think could provide sustainability of this building. So that's something that we're pursuing. And so with that name, we can actually go out to the national and international community who supports Jack Kerouac. So those are some of the things that we're doing. And I've been told by some of the city leaders that, since the baseball field and Songas Arena, this was the next big thing. I'm not sure, because now that we have a high school project in the city, but still, I think this is a really important project. And I think this project has to be not just CBA's project, but it has to be the City of Lowell's project. And so I'm here today to actually ask the city to work with CBA on a few of the items that I came up with. So one of them is Senator Donahue worked on economic development bill that all of you know of. And on one of the bill is Innovation Infrastructure Fund that that's through mass development. And I would like to ask the city to partner with CBA to apply for that fund towards the Smith Baker Center. So that's one of our ask. And then the other one is I would like to invite mayor or one of the city councilors to be part of our advisory board. So you can vote amongst yourselves who would be the person who can represent from the city council, so you can be informed of what's going on. And the other piece is I would like city to reinstate the Blue Ribbon Committee, and we can have a couple meetings a year where we can actually talk about all the progress and what we're doing, and also for us to hear from the committee what else we could be doing and how we could be doing to get this project going. And as we have always said from the beginning, the fundraising will take about 2 years, and building of the building will be about a year. So that is the timeline we're still looking at. So, thank you.
Thank you. Council Belanger.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And I want to thank Yunju Choi for coming down and speaking to us tonight. It is, I made this similar motion just 6 months ago, and I had let Yunju Choi know that periodically I am going to do it again, the approximate time, to get an update in a positive manner, to see how we can assist Yunju in her vision, which this councilor fully endorsed so long ago, and we're behind her vision. It is such a inclusive vision that it's very near and dear to all of us. I know we're all very interested in seeing her execute this vision. So that is why I asked her to come in again, and I thank her for coming in. And please, Yunju, you can get those requests to the manager, and we will most certainly, that is why I bring you in. What is going, and how can we help you? You are a partner with us, and we are to help you in any way we can. So that is great. But Mr. Mayor, through you, to Yunju Choi. Yunju, how are we doing? 6 months ago, you talked about a few grants you applied or were going to be applying. Is that sort of gone by the wayside with the fundraising position, or how are we making out there?
Well, the Parker Foundation, actually, I don't think we had gotten a word from them, so so we were successful with that. We did have, we actually have a national funder who we didn't get support from. And we actually do have a list of more, and with the capital fundraiser, hoping to hire within a month and a half, we would actually be really expediting the fundraising opportunity. And the other piece is we need to still make sure that we have a site control of the Smith Baker Center before we can do some of these funding opportunities.
I understand that fully. I mean, on top of your other duties, grant applying is a very time-consuming responsibility. It's good to designate a full-time individual that's going to be grant-funded. That's great news. We're behind you all the way. Please make sure we become acquainted with this new individual who gets hired to help you in your quest. So, again, thank you for coming in, Yunjoy. We're behind you. I just can't stress that enough. And please keep us in tune to what's going on, okay? Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilor. Any further? Councilor Elliott.
I'd just like to make a motion that we, that you, Mr. Mayor, reinstate the Blue Ribbon Commission as suggested or requested by Youngju Choi, as well as have the manager or DPD meet with CBA to discuss the submission of a partnership on a grant. Is it a MassWorks grant through?
It's the Economic
Innovation.
Development Bill,
Yeah,
Innovation Infrastructure Bill.
Innovation Infrastructure, and that we appoint an individual to serve on the advisory board to assist CBA.
Second.
Second. That motion, motion second by Councilor Mercia. Discussion on the motion. All in favor of the motion, all opposed, so voted. Any further discussion on item E? If not,
Mr. Mayor,
Councilor Mercia.
I just want to say one thing to the speaker, Youngju Choi. To have cultural classes as to what is proper in different ethnic groups. I saw a monk, and I was introduced to him. I went to give him a big hug, and he jumped back like I had a disease. But the thing of it is, you're not supposed to touch them, and I didn't know that, so I can relate to your story. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Any further discussion? If not, thank you very much. We'll return to the agenda. To the beginning of the agenda, we have the minutes of the Economic Development Subcommittee of February 14th.
Move approval.
The City Council meeting of February 14th, and the special meeting of the Committee of the Whole on February 16th for acceptance. We have a motion approved by Councilor Elliott, seconded by Councilor Rourke. All discussion, all in favor, all opposed, so voted. Next on auditor's business, we have the fiscal year 2016 audit. Chair would entertain a motion to accept the audit and place it on file.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to move to send this to the Finance Subcommittee for discussion. There's a number of items of concern in this management letter, and I think it's worthy of a discussion for the Finance Subcommittee.
Okay, so we have a motion to accept it, place it on file, and refer it to the Finance Committee for further review by Council Elliott, seconded by Council Leary. Discussion, all in favor, all opposed, so voted. Next, under communications from the city manager, we have motion response A, the four-way stop sign on Trull Lane. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll move on to B, which is a 2017 pavement marking. Council Leahy.
Thank you. Just quickly, thank you for the report. I think it got lost in translation. They were talking about crosswalks, but I was talking about road, the divider lines and all that. So just when it comes up again for the budget for the next year, that's what I was real concerned with. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you. Any further discussion on item B? If not, we'll move on to item C, Comcast hanging wires. Any discussion? Council Leahy.
Thank you. Just quickly on that, I'll try to get a list of the ones I see, but if we could ask the inspectional department, just as they're driving through the city, because there's quite a few that are hanging down now. And from the report from the gentleman you spoke to, I know what he's talking about, the difference between them, but the ones that are coiled up and tied up on the lines, but there's a lot of wires that are hanging down that are just laid there. And I'm trying to look to see if they got a dish and they just cut the cable wires and letting them hang down, but it's quite a thing across the city now, so thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion on item C? If not, we'll move on to item D, which is the Bridge Street improvements. Any discussion on item D? Councilor Samaras.
Thank you, Mayor Kennedy. I want to thank the city manager for this report. It's a great report. The Bridge Street corridor is one of the busiest corridors, leading into our city, and I think this is an important report. One of the questions that you brought up, the studying the feasibility of improving streets and sidewalk lighting, Mr. Manager. It's a study, but do you plan, if the study speaks to the need, is that a plan? Is that part of the plan?
Yes, I think it's important to make sure that these business corridors are well lit and that they feel safe walking up and down the streets. I think Couple Square is much more well lit today than it was before.
Major change.
And I can see Bridge Street up and down being much more well lit so that people feel safe walking at nighttime.
Okay. No, you've outlined quite a bit. You've outlined the idea of new signs, facade upgrades, all of those things that are necessary to improve the Bridge Street area. One of the things that I'm pleased with is that you have the public participation, business association that you're going to start. These are important. Do you plan to also include anybody from Couple Square to help them start, say, the business association? It's a suggestion, to bring them down.
That's a great idea because I'll get Maria Cosumbolas to come over to Bridge Street to whip them in line like they do she does in Couple Square.
Yeah.
So no, that's a great idea.
It's the enthusiasm. I
Yes,
think you're right.
You're right, exactly. Great idea, Councilor.
Okay, thank you. No, but this is a good outline. Thank you.
Council Mercia.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think this is a wonderful presentation as well. A lot is being done in the Centerville section. I would like this to be sent to Mike Damaris so that he could get it to the Centerville Neighborhood Action Group. The very people that are very concerned about their neighborhood should know what's going on from the city side. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Leary.
Just want to echo what Councilor Mercier said, but also I'd like to see if we can refer to the Economic Subcommittee as well and use that as a forum really to bring them in and to discuss the options and kind of really work with them, much like you did with Couple Square. I think it's an excellent start to it. Thank you.
Okay, so we have a motion by Council Leary to send D, the Bridge Street improvements, to the Economic Development Subcommittee. Seconded by Councilor Samaras. Discussion on the motion. All in favor, all opposed, so voted. Next, under F, is the Lowell High School meeting minutes. Any discussion on F? If not, we have 3 informational items. One is the net school spending for 2016, 2017. Any discussion? If not, there's the refunding bonds, the budgetary savings. Any discussion? And the 2016 audit response. Any discussion? If not, the chair would entertain a motion to accept and place on file all of the items under the city manager and place them on file. We have a motion to that effect by Councilor Elliott, seconded by Councilor Rourke. Discussion. Go ahead, Councilor Elliott.
There's some real good news in here, Mr. Manager, and I know it's late and we want to get through it, but I mean, some things on refunding of bonds and the savings as well as net school spending. If there's no objection, can we send them to the Finance Subcommittee? Because I think it's good news. It shows our financial standing and what we're doing to continue to save money, as well as our investment into the education system, that we exceeded net school spending by $9 million. I think that reflects our commitment to education. I just think it's worthy of more of a discussion to as the financial picture unfolds.
All right. Would you like to send all 3 of the informationals to the Finance Committee?
I think it makes sense, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. And second by Councilor Belanger. If there's no objection, then that's what we'll do. All in favor of that motion, all opposed, so voted. And so the motion now is to accept and place on file the other communications by the city manager. Discussion, all in favor, all opposed, so voted. Moving on, we have a communication to reappoint Richard Lockhart and James Wilder to the Historic Board. Do we have a motion approved by Council Leahy, seconded by Council Leary? Discussion, roll call.
Council Mercier.
Yes.
Council Milonazo.
Yes.
Council Rourke.
Yes.
Council Samaras.
Yes.
Council Belanger.
Yes.
Council Elliott.
Yes.
Mayor Kennedy.
Yes.
Council Leahy.
Yes.
Council Leary.
Yes.
9 yeas.
We have a motion to, from the communication from the city manager to designate Norman Gagari as chairman of the Veterans Commission. We need a motion to accept and place on file by Council Elliott, seconded by Council Leary. Discussion on the motion. All in favor, all opposed, so voted. Next, we have a communication from the city manager requesting out-of-state travel for one person from the LRWU and one person from the LPD. We have a motion to approve. Motion approved by Council Elliott, seconded by Council Rourke. Discussion, roll call.
Council Mercier.
Yes.
Council Milonazo.
Yes.
Council Rourke.
Yes.
Council Samaras.
Yes.
Council Belanger.
Yes.
Council Elliott.
Yes.
Mayor Kennedy.
Yes.
Council Leahy.
Yes.
Council Leary.
Yes.
9 yeas.
Next, we have a vote authorizing the manager to execute a license agreement at 17, for an overhanging sign at 17 Shattuck Street. There's no objection, we'll waive the full first reading and go to the second reading. Authorizing the city manager to enter into a license agreement with Laponi Companies LLC to encroach upon the city of Lowell property at 17 Shattuck Street for the overhanging sign for the Thorndike Exchange Experience Center in Lowell, Massachusetts. We have a motion to approve by Council Rourke, seconded by Council Milonazo. Discussion on the motion, roll call.
Council Mercier.
Yes.
Council Milonazo.
Yes.
Council Rourke.
Yes.
Council Samaras.
Yes.
Council Belanger.
Yes.
Council Elliott.
Yes.
Mayor Kennedy.
Yes.
Council Leahy.
Yes.
Council Leary.
Yes.
9 yeas.
We have we need a vote to transfer the amount of $17,700 for police equipment. If there's no objection, we'll waive the full first reading, go to the second reading to transfer $17,700 in funds needed to purchase Taser cartridges for the spring firearms qualification training. Do we have a motion to approve?
Approval.
Motion approved by Council Rourke, seconded by Council Leahy. Discussion on the motion, roll call.
Council Mercier.
Yes.
Council Milonazo.
Yes.
Council Rourke.
Yes.
Council Samaras.
Yes.
Council Belanger.
Yes.
Council Elliott.
Yes.
Mayor Kennedy.
Yes.
Council Leahy.
Yes.
Council Leary.
Yes.
9 yeas.
Next, we have a vote to transfer the amount of $18,000 for kennel services. If there's no objection, we'll waive the full first reading, go to the second reading. To transfer $18,000 in funds for kennel-related expenses for the Animal Control Division of the Lowell Police Department. Do we have a motion to approve by Council Rourke, seconded by Council Samaras? Discussion on the motion, roll call.
Counsel Mercia.
Yes.
Counsel Milonazo.
Yes.
Counsel Rourke.
Yes.
Counsel Samaras.
Yes.
Counsel Belanger.
Yes.
Counsel Elliott.
Yes.
Mayor Kennedy.
Yes.
Counsel Leahy.
Yes.
Counsel Leary.
Yes.
9 yeas.
Next, we have a loan order for the garage design bond in the amount of $1,200,000. If there's no objection, we'll waive the full first reading, and the proper motion would be to refer this to a public hearing on March 21st, 2017 at 7 p.m. Do we have a motion to that effect by Councilor Rourke, seconded by Councilor Leary? Discussion, all in favor, all opposed, so voted. Next is a loan order to rescind the excess debt authorization in various accounts. And if there's no objection, we'll waive the full first reading, go to the second reading to rescind excess debt authorizations from various loan accounts. Do we have a motion to approve? Motion approved by Council Belanger, seconded by Council Rourke. Discussion on the motion. Roll call.
Counsel Mercia.
Yes.
Counsel Milonazo.
Yes.
Counsel Rourke.
Yes.
Counsel Samaras.
Yes.
Counsel Belanger.
Yes.
Counsel Elliott.
Yes.
Mayor Kennedy.
Yes.
Counsel Leahy.
Yes.
Counsel Leary.
Yes.
9 yeas.
Next, we have an order for a 60-day trial at various locations. If there's no objection, we'll waive the full first reading, go to the second reading pursuant to Chapter 266 of the Code of Ordinances in the City of Lowell, Massachusetts concerning Section 266-6 thereof entitled Temporary Experimental Regulations. Temporary traffic regulations are hereby implemented for a period of 60 days. A motion to approve by Councilor Mercia, seconded by Council Rourke. Discussion, roll call.
Counsel Mercia.
Yes.
Counsel Milonazo.
Yes.
Counsel Rourke.
Yes.
Counsel Samaras.
Yes.
Counsel Belanger.
Yes.
Counsel Elliott.
Yes.
Mayor Kennedy.
Yes.
Counsel Leahy.
Yes.
Counsel Leary.
Yes.
9 yeas.
Next, we have the special meeting, the Committee of the Whole, February 16, 2017. I don't think anybody needs to explain it, we're all there. So all we need is a motion to accept the report as a report of progress by Councilor Samaras, seconded by Council Rourke. Discussion, all in favor, all opposed, so voted. Next is we have a subcommittee report for the City Council special meeting on February 27, 2017. We have a motion to accept the report as a report of progress from Council Rourke, seconded by Council Samaras. Discussion, all in favor, all opposed, so voted. Next, we have the Technology and Utilities Subcommittee meeting on February 28, 2017. Council Leary.
Just make a motion that we could do it at the next meeting the following Tuesday.
Council Leary moves that we postpone this until the next meeting, second by Council Elliott. Discussion on the motion, all in favor, all opposed, so voted. Next, we have a request for permission to install an underground concrete PCV conduit at 11 to 15 Carter Street. We have a motion to accept and adopt the company report by Councilor Rourke, seconded by Councilor Milonazo. Discussion, all in favor, all opposed, so voted. Next, from the wire inspector, we have National Grid Verizon Northeast requesting permission to install a new riser pole at 15 Carter Street. We have a motion to accept and adopt the accompanying report by Councilor Samaras, seconded by Councilor Rourke. Discussion, all in favor, all opposed, so voted. Under petitions, we have claims. We have 3 property claims. Proper motion would be to refer to the Law Department for report and recommendation by Councilor Samaras, seconded by Councilor Rourke. Discussion on the motion, all in favor, all opposed, so voted. Next, under miscellaneous, Robert McCarthy is requesting the installation of a handicap parking sign at 14 Demerley Street. Motion referred to the traffic engineer for report and recommendation by Councilor Belanger, seconded by Councilor Elliott. Discussion, all in favor, all opposed, so voted. Next, by Daniel Daigle, requesting installation of a handicap parking sign at 40 Arlington Street. We have a motion to refer to the traffic engineer for report and recommendation by Councilor Belanger, seconded by Councilor Elliott.
Mr. Mayor.
Discussion on the motion, Councilor Mercer.
On those 2 handicap parking sign requests, could we make them 60-day trial and put them up as soon as possible before a snowstorm comes and we have to wait till the spring?
Okay, so the motion is to refer to the traffic engineer for report and recommendation and put them up for a 60-day trial before the springtime. Discussion, all in favor, all opposed. Next on the City Council motions, the first motion of the evening is a motion by Council Leahy Request that the city manager provide a report from the DPW regarding waste barrels being left on curbsides in all neighborhoods during the week. Seconded by Council Leary. Council Leahy.
Thank you. Through you to the manager. This has just been coming up a lot at the neighborhood meetings. So if we could look into addressing this, and even if it means, you know, some sort of an idea for next budget session when we, maybe we could have part-time inspector hired or inspector that moves around to different departments. But this issue's been coming up a lot at the neighborhood meetings, as I said, and it's just an annoyance for the neighborhood. So whatever we can do to help who's ever responsible for this, recycling or DPW or whatever department. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, all opposed, so voted. The next is a motion by Council Leahy. Request the city manager provide a report from inspectional services regarding the clearing of snow from sidewalks. A report to include the amount of citations and fines as compared to last year. Second by Council Leahy. Council Leahy.
Thank you. Motion speaks for itself, but again, this is one of those issues that come up through the neighborhood meetings that they'd like an answer to. Hopefully, we don't get any more snow this year, but if we could just see how we're doing with that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Any further discussion? All in favor, all opposed, so voted. Next is a motion by Council Leahy. Request the city manager of the water department review bills regarding the high water costs. Second by Council Leahy. Council Leahy.
Thank you. Through you, the manager. This is an issue that a few people have called back on. So I know that different departments are looking into it, but some people have experienced higher than normal water bills, and I don't know if it has to do with the sewer rate or with whatever's going on. But one person had called me and said that they were talking to somebody at the water department. They were telling them that they could tell from wherever they were in their office that their meter was running. So, but they insisted that it wasn't running. So someone came out to check the water meter, found out that there wasn't any leaks in the house, but there was a discrepancy in what was said at the office and what's going on at the home. And I had given Mr. McGovern a couple of names from some emails we got in the last month. People still having high water bills, so, and sewage stuff. So if we can take a look into that, because it's not one or two people. It seems to be a handful now that are calling about that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the motion? All in favor, all opposed, so voted. The next motion in the evening is a motion by Council Mercia. Request the city manager of the property department replace the missing plaque at the South Common Swimming Pool with a granite stone that was named the Anthony L. Archinsky Memorial Pool in 1978 in his memory. Second by Councilor Rourke. Councilor Mercia.
Yes, I hope I can talk as fast as you, but Tony Archinsky was an outstanding Lowell High School basketball and baseball player, having graduated in 1933. Mr. Archinsky went on to Lowell Tech, now UMass Lowell, and in 1937, he and Mike Scaff, another well-known great athlete, were signed to the Boston Braves of the National League. Tony was an outstanding pitcher whose fastball brought the 6'1" right-hander all the way to the single-A baseball team. Injuries as well as World War II on the horizon brought Tony to join the United States Army Air Corps, where he served for 5 years as a physical fitness instructor, attaining the rank of first lieutenant. After leaving the service, Tony Archinsky served as the Lowell High School basketball coach, as well as the assistant football coach under Ray Riddick. Mike Scaff, incidentally, served as the Lowell High School baseball coach. In 1965, after serving nearly 25 years in Lowell sports, either as a player or coach, Tony was named the assistant to the City of Lowell Recreation Director Pete Sheehan, and eventually took over as Director of Recreation upon Mr. Sheehan's retirement. Mike Scaff was named Tony's assistant director and took the reins over in 1975 upon Tony's death. Mr. Archinsky was posthumously rewarded for the countless hours he gave to the city of Lowell when in July of 1978, the swimming pool on the South Common was named the Anthony L. Archinsky Memorial Pool. Unfortunately, Mr. Mayor, over the years, the complex has fallen into some disrepair, and the plaque that displayed Tony Archinsky's name is long gone. The family hereby requests through my motion that the city take action to replace the plaque and also make plans to spruce up the place a little bit. I think it would only be correcting an injustice that occurred, and I appreciate that because over the years it's been missing. But I would say that if we put another plaque, that too might get lost, but I find it very hard for people to steal granite rocks. So if we could put a granite stone there, that would be nice for the family.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Any further discussion on the motion? All in favor, all opposed, so voted. We're coming upon the 10 o'clock deadline. We have 7 motions left. We can either bundle the motions, we can postpone them till next week, or we can vote to go beyond 7 o'clock. Counselor Elliott.
I make a motion that we bundle them and send them to the manager. I mean, they're all looking for information, that they come back for reports and we can discuss them at that time.
Okay. Counselor Elliott moves that we bundle the 7 remaining motions on the agenda, seconded by Counselor Rourke. Discussion. All in favor, all opposed, so voted. That concludes the agenda. Are there any announcements? Hearing none.
Yes,
Counselor
there's
Mercy.
wait a minute. There's an announcement. There's going to be a Luna Fest. I know you're wondering what that is, but this is a very important thing, and it's going to be Friday. Let me just say, it's for Budget Buddies. They help low-income women become more economically self-sufficient and transform their lives by teaching them core money management skills and pairing them with personal finance coaches. So the Budget Buddies will host a Luna Fest at UTEC in Lowell this Friday, March 3rd. Luna Fest is a national film festival that features short films by, for, and about women. The event will feature a reception and silent auction, followed by the film screening and a live auction, of which I will be the auctioneer. Thank you.
Thank
so
you.
I invite everybody down.
We have motion adjourned by Counselor Rourke, seconded by Counselor Samarist. All in favor of the motion, all opposed? Stand adjourned at 9:59. Thanks.
Oh, good.